All right, hello everybody. This is Tyrannapus. Hopefully, this recording goes well. I have a mic next to me. Hopefully, my voice isn't too loud, and I will be bringing someone on call to discuss with. Not sure if it'll be. You're gonna click on the video. It is about a fucking Lily Orchard video, and I want to preface this now, and I'll preface it again later. I will be trying to avoid the allegations, at least these serious allegations against her. This is like I'm not really the person to discuss that. I know what I know. I know the different. I know the evidence, but I'm not. It's not really my place or my platform to discuss it at this period of time. But it will. They will probably bring it up. She finds a way to bring it up herself all the time, even though she really shouldn't. Um, why am I doing this? It's because I want to suffer. But thankfully for me, I have dragged someone else into this. Someone I talked to on Discord. They're called Wave. I haven't been in too many VC. I've been in the VC with them like once or twice. So I haven't really spoken too much, like voice to voice, just kind of through message. But he agreed to jump in and suffer with me. We'll be doing that. It's a video about Star Wars. Been dreading this upload, and this is gonna be the first Lily video I raw dog essentially. I always watch. I don't watch Lily unfiltered. I watch it through another YouTuber. But today I have decided to do that, and I can see my mic might be getting a bit too loud. Let me just go into OBS. Okay, let me speak. And even if I'm speaking loudly, it is not hitting the red. That should be good. If it isn't, I'm sorry. This is probably one of the first videos I'm doing like this. Um, but I will be doing Squawk Talk soon, a podcast that I'm doing with my friend Tanya. I have a channel set up. I did film an introductory video for it about 2 months ago at this point probably, but I wanted to not upload that until we had a clip from episode 1, and we just haven't had the chance to record it yet. But now that uni is over for both of us, we will be meeting up probably next week to record an episode, and hopefully it'll be out soon after that. Now, I will probably call Wave, um, and we'll do this. Okay. To call. I might edit some of this out. If I don't, I'll add some bonus. All right. Well, we'll wait here. I might edit this out, but if not, how's your day going? Mine's going pretty good so far. But I'm gonna watch a Lily Orchard video, so. And given Star Wars is something I know a lot about, hopefully that's a good time. I mean, not a good time. Hopefully I have some input. I've heard some of her Star Wars opinions, and they're a bit bad. Oh, okay. Let me call Wave. Playing the. Oh,
Hmm.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Let me just mess around with the audio a bit. Can you speak for a second, please?
All right, 1 2 1
All
2.
right, that should be.
Inoperable tumor. 30
Okay.
days to live. 30 days to live. Inoperable
I think
tumor.
that's good. It looks good
All
on
right, perfect.
OBS, so hopefully, if it's not good, that's fucking whatever.
We'll
Um,
figure that out later.
is there any way you want to introduce yourself on the
I'm
thing?
Wave, and this is going to be painful. So
All right, let
uh,
me stream.
I'm well prepared.
Okay,
Been through this sort of horse shit
okay.
before.
I've got it in a incognito tab, so it doesn't infect my YouTube recommendations. But
Good call. And it doesn't
um,
give her any fucking money.
oh, is that also the case? Okay, that's good.
I assume if
I mean,
it's not giving you
if it
ads.
play, it does give you ads though in incognito. It still gives you ads.
Oh well, maybe then. Yeah.
All right, can you see
I
the
don't know.
stream?
Does maybe it does? I don't know. Yes, I
It.
can.
All right, cool. I had to
Get
turn down
ready
the
to
audio a
suck.
bit because it was pretty loud, but hopefully it works out fine. Is my mic all good?
Yeah, you sound fine.
All right, cool. All right. I just want to say one thing. The video is called "This Video is About Star Wars," but there's something I've noticed from watching people watch Lily is she has a video title and a video concept, but she doesn't actually talk about what the title says.
No, yeah, she
She
mostly
had
because she's a horrifically awful critic.
I don't know, but I don't even think she really writes a script properly. Like she has, I think she writes stream of conscious and then doesn't edit afterwards.
It does seeing from shit like her Steven Universe video, it does
Uh,
feel like that.
well, that does feel like that, but Steven Universe video, at least that's about Steven Universe. Like even
I
if it's
mean,
not a
you've got
good
a
video,
point there.
it's a terrible video, but at least it's about Steven
It's
Universe.
also about scheduling conflicts for, like, the first 30
Yeah,
minutes
but she also doesn't know how studios work because she blames Rebecca Sugar for
for the
getting the show
studio
cancelled
being
when the
further.
studio cancelled it because of the gay wedding, and then she blames Rebecca Sugar for that. And it's like, well, that's not really
It's like, well, she
she
didn't
can't
cancel her
control
own
that.
show.
It's like, oh, the ending's rushed. Like, yeah, that was kind of out of her control. And then with like Future, like they got the show
Yeah,
cancelled
which was the
and they made the
addendum.
movie, but then like the studio after canceling the show is like, oh, we can't have a movie while you don't have a show running, so let's just order another 20
So
episodes
let's
after
make
canceling
sure.
the show. It's like, what the fuck, guys? This is
Yeah, that seems like a real thing that a show creator that wouldn't just make another season for. What the
yeah.
fuck?
Let me just check. Okay, she has a thing. She apparently misspoke on a joke. We'll get there when we get there. But I remember checking through these comments. And and it's so many
The
like
miss
not gonna lie to you, I was only here because of your Legend of Korra videos, which I've heard are not very good, but I haven't seen Korra yet, so I don't really want to watch those until
it
after
can't be
I
good, it's Lily
watch
Orchard.
Korra. I've heard some of her opinions on Korra, and again, she's like she's upset that the relationship between like Korra and Asami doesn't have enough build up. But like again, it was a show being fucked by
Over
the
the course
network.
of the
It
entire
was being
series, what
no, it
the
was
fuck is
being
she
no, but it was
talking
like
about?
the show was being fucked by the network, right? The last season was
It
aired
was.
on a website, and like when the final episode aired where Korra and Asami hold hands, like gay marriage wasn't even legal in most of the US yet. It wasn't legal in
No,
Australia
it
yet.
wasn't. And
So
also
it's like they're not gonna have like a
the idea that it was
lesbian kiss
rushed. It
in like when it's not even
it
legal yet, unfortunately. So it's like
also, it wasn't rushed. It was, like, over the course of the whole series, their relationship builds.
also just the whole thing where like every time a season was ordered, like they ordered Korra as a miniseries, they finished the miniseries. Oh, so you got a season two now, but only a season two. Then they finished season two. It's like okay, so now you got season three and four. It's like Jesus Christ, those are not good conditions to write a show.
They also they kept shipping out animation to, like,
Did
cheaper
that? Oh, I
studios.
thought it was always the same studio in South Korea that was
Oh,
doing
no,
it.
they did start shipping it out to, like, other
Okay,
studios to make it for cheaper cost. Korra
okay,
was a production that was mired by studio fuckery, which is
yeah.
amazing because when they did that with Avatar, it ended in the worst episode of the series.
um,
Do you think they would have learned? But then again,
I
never
would think
mind.
that Nickelodeon would at least treat like Avatar decently since it's one of the like up with SpongeBob, it's one of their better shows, but I
Is that
guess not. Hmm?
hold on, before we keep going, there's that one in the corner of the Raylo video. Is that supposed to be her kissing Kylo Ren?
No, I
If
think that's
so,
one of her OCs in a thing. I saw
okay.
another
Well,
artwork.
of course it is.
I'm in the Crimson Enders server. I recommend maybe joining his server because like a lot of people do just post Lily's Tumblr shit, and someone
Sounds
did
like a good way
post
to.
someone did post like a thing that I think she got her wife to draw her Star Wars OC with her version of Rey, and her version of Rey just looks like her. So it's like a self-insert Rey
Oh,
sleeping with her
yeah, that
OC,
seems about in
and it's like,
line.
okay, all right. But let me just. I remember seeing some stuff here. I just seen some opinions. Like she's apparently doesn't even sound like she's talking about Star Wars, which I'm both like I expected but happy about, but also kind of disappointed because I have heard about. I could be wrong here, but I've heard about her Star Wars fan fiction. Tries to treat the Sith as the good guys, and it's like a power self-insert power fantasy.
I
And
mean, I think described it to you as Lily Orchard makes the nostalgia critic look like Siskel and Ebert, like
uh,
professional fucking critics.
no, but I think because like obviously the Jedi aren't the good guys. There are a lot of people that claim to watch Star Wars that
No,
don't
they're
get that.
not.
They got angry at the Acolyte because the Jedi were kind of corrupt. But like, did you watch the prequels? Did you watch the?
To be fair, you may have been distracted by the presence of Watto.
Okay, what about Revenge? Watto wasn't in Revenge of the Sith. You can't be distracted by him though.
Oh, no, you're right, he wasn't. But there's a lot of other shit going on,
Yeah,
like
but
giant
like,
lizards that Grievous rode on and shit.
true.
I know with
No,
Obi-Wan,
Obi Wan
after
wrote
this
on it,
Grievous
but
rides in a giant fuck cycle.
no, but like they were kind of corrupt in the originals. Like Obi Wan like fucking lies to
I
Luke
mean,
in the
yeah, you're
original
still right.
trilogy. So
No, yeah, I mean that's the whole point is
yeah,
that they are
they're not
corrupt, which
perfect.
is the whole point.
They're,
They let shit slip, and that's how Darth Vader comes about because they let shit slip.
Yeah, but then Lily takes that the other way, and she just goes, "So the Jedi aren't good guys, therefore the Sith are like, aren't bad guys." But it's like, no, they're fucking fascists, Lily.
No, that's again the nostalgia critic thing. Like even someone like Doug Walker would absolutely understand that it can't be that black and white sometimes.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna put. I mean,
Like
another thing
he
with
would
Doug Walker
still
is
understand that, and he has.
at least Doug Walker understands
Well, it's
animation like really
insane.
well. Like Doug Walker knows how animation works, and you can give him that. Like Lily doesn't. She's
I don't. Yeah, I don't
primarily
think he's totally incompetent. Is the thing.
no, but like his takes on animation are like far better than his takes on like other media. I think I remember reading that he may have worked in animation at some point, so that might be why. But I remember he
I
had
mean,
like a
even
take
then,
on like Hotel
his takes
Transylvania.
aren't usually that bad.
Yeah, but like I mean specifically his animation takes are better than the rest
I'm
of his
gonna get a
takes.
little.
But like
Yeah.
Lily's primarily an animation YouTuber, like kids anime.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
only watches kid shows and then complains that they're not mature enough. I don't like they're kid shows. There's nothing wrong with watching kid like I watch kids shows, but you got to understand that they are for kids. Like they're not going to be super mature
I
because it
think, and I under. Well, to be fair, I think there's a difference between complaining that they aren't that they're like not mature or they're not versus they're not trying hard enough. There's
yeah,
plenty of kids shows that are deeply well made and try hard and do good. You're talking about Avatar and Korra; those are kids
yeah,
shows. But like, there's you have to understand that not everything is going to look the same. Like, not everything is going to even reach that level if it tries.
yeah. But I
But
don't know. It's just
I think it's good to like encourage them to try, but also don't be an idiot about it.
exactly. No, there's nothing wrong. Like kids deserve good content too. And again, plenty of kids shows or kids
Not everything
movies.
needs to be
Yeah.
some storied tale. You can have like I don't know,
Oh god, don't.
like
Lily has a whole
um,
video about like how why all story focused cartoons are terrible, but then she barely even talks about that in the video anyway. She just goes on a massive
well,
tangent.
let's
But she's
let's
just
focus on one shit fest at a time and begin
yeah.
this.
Okay, let's begin the video.
You've seen
What do you think of the
Andor?
Acolyte?
Why won't you admit
The
that your
Jedi are
ideas about
infallible
the
and
Sith
any
are
criticism of them
stupid?
is supporting
Star Wars
genocide.
Kennedy is responsible
Dave
for
Filoni
everything.
will save
Did we
Star
talk about The
Wars.
Last Jedi for the 1800th time? Oh. Wow, that was a weird dream. For a second there, I thought I was in a world where one franchise was to blame for the actions of the entire entertainment industry.
God.
Good thing I'm in a sane, sensible world where everything makes
Already
sense.
really
And back to boring old
disingenuous.
reality. Okay, so Disney has had control of Star Wars for about 10 years now, and to say it's the definition of discourse would be an understatement. And I'm not talking just about far-right YouTube grifters either. Even real human beings with, like,
Okay,
actual...
that's my Twitter. That's my guy I follow on Twitter. What's the problem here? I want to know. Okay,
So you're
sorry. I just have to
calling
pause
him a
that. I follow this guy on Twitter. I
right?
have no idea what Lily's going to complain about because he has. I don't agree with him on everything, but he has pretty sensible takes. So
Well,
we'll just.
certainly, I don't think he's far right.
Oh no, that's what she's saying. She's saying that even people other than far right YouTubers. But the thing is,
Oh,
he's a fan of Star Wars, but he's disappointed with how Lucasfilm does things, which is like fair enough. They're pretty spineless. Like they
I
bend
mean,
to
yeah, I mean, especially that's the thing is that they've just kind of not figured out what to do with it after the Disney buyout.
yeah. I mean, even when they do, it's not even like they stick to like, the Mandalorian like season one. Like, it was pretty clear. It's like, oh, it's like its own thing. And even though like I
Well,
wanted,
the thing
like
they
again,
fuck
it's just
up.
like a be careful what you wish for thing. Because I always wanted a, more of the cartoon stuff to be like talked about more in the mainstream Star Wars stuff, and they did do that. But then they're only doing that, and
Yeah,
it is done in like the
they don't
worst way
end up doing
possible.
anything else.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to pause that to say that I know this guy. Also, if it's too
No,
loud,
I
like
think
let me
there's
know.
going.
Cause
No, it's fine. There's going to be a lot of that, even though this is only a 20-minute video.
yeah,
Opinions on things have been discoursing about Star Wars for the last decade. Wait, sorry, did I say last decade? I meant the last 50 years. I can't help but look at my window sometimes and go, are you
Oh
guys
my
still
God.
here? Truth be told, my interest in Disney Star Wars is practically non-existent. It
why are
largely
you making
circles
a
the drain of
video?
original trilogy nostalgia, while occasionally
Why
dragging
make a
Hayden
video if
Christensen
you
out
have
to make
no
the people
interest
with
in
good
it
taste
or
cheer and
care?
guffaw. I used to say
Okay,
I wanted a
she's a
Hayden
prequel
Christensen
fan. She's a
cameo,
prequel
and then I
fan.
got it, and
I
I loved
I am
it.
too,
And then
but
the second
Oh,
one, I quite liked The
fuck.
Force Awakens. Of the sequel trilogy, it was my favorite.
I
The
guess I'm
Last
the
Jedi and
outlier
Rise of
here.
Skywalker decided to
yes.
shift focus away from the characters I love.
I mean they're not great, but I'm a fan. I don't think that's Lily's.
We don't need
I don't
to
think that's Lily's take on them, but because she just said
we
people
don't
with
need
taste, so
uh, we don't
so
need to go over that after this video will give us plenty to talk
yeah.
about. Play of
Like the
garbage
characters
to
I
sort
didn't,
through.
while taking elements from Rey and Finn's friendship and awkwardly bolting them onto the Force bond with Kylo Ren, while constantly shifting back and forth between, are we gonna kill this little twerp or redeem him? Rogue One is a rebel movie, so I wasn't interested. People tell me, oh, it's good and you have to see it because it's really good, and I say, no, that's okay, I trust you, you wouldn't lie to me.
Stop,
Can
pause.
can we talk about that? Like, there's some people I
Yeah,
know that really don't like Rogue One, and I respect their opinions because they have some like valid takes on why Rogue One's not a good movie.
do not like the movie. It's another
Okay.
thing to say I don't like the movie because it's about the rebels. That's insane.
Oh God, what is she gonna say about Andor? Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
What do you got to say about Star Wars? You do realize that they are the focal point of most of the series.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe she's just
Is
into
that why she
the
likes the
Jedi.
prequels? Because there's no rebels?
Shit, might be it. It's all just Jedi mostly.
Is she that fucking stupid?
And I'm gonna assume if she likes the Clone Wars, it's gonna be because of nostalgia that she watched it as a kid. Because the Clone Wars
Oh yeah.
does include more of that stuff. But
Yeah,
then
no.
she'll like it because she watches the kid. But maybe she doesn't. Maybe.
Then again, she's really stupid, so we'll see.
Yeah. No, but that opinion, like you're allowed to not like I like the movie. I'm not gonna go out and defend the movie, but I do really like it. But I
Yeah,
know there's someone I follow on Twitter who he's mostly talks about DC comics right now. But like when I first followed him, he was the number one Rogue One hater, and I respect his opinion. Um,
I don't think I'm not exactly a fan of it, but I'm not here or there as
oh,
far as
this guy like despises it. He said he like when he watched it in the movie, like even in the theaters, he hated it,
no,
and he
yeah,
said,
I'm not disputing his credentials. I'm just saying
hmm.
I feel like his reasons are a bit more sane than Lily
Oh yeah,
Orchard's,
no,
but
no,
then
no,
again,
no,
he's
yeah,
a
like
human.
again with this guy, like I don't agree with him, but he's definitely got like sane reasons, and there's been like people that like got angry at him for his opinions, and even though I like the movie, I've defended him because his opinions make sense. Like even if I don't
Yeah,
agree, they make sense.
that's why Lily Orchard is often such a bad critic, is because she's legitimately like just completely inane when it comes to the reasons she feels these way about things. Like
I
look at
can't.
like
Oh,
Red Letter Media. Those guys often shake the boat a little with some of their opinions, but they never you never feel like you never don't understand why they say that they like or dislike something because they're so in depth and explanatory and good about explaining why.
there's
Lily
this,
Orchard makes a video on why Steven Universe is bad,
and
and
then
then
lies.
complains about schedule errors, and then
And she
like
just doesn't watch a show.
continues
Like I
shit.
think the YouTuber Sai,
I don't think she's.
she
I was.
realized that like Lily skipped the episode pool hopping because there's like a lot of times where she's like, "Oh, the show just never brings this up again." Like they brought it up in pool hopping. Did you just not watch that episode? Like,
I guarantee you, they. Yeah, that she. I've barely able to stomach that video, but like, there's
oh,
certainly
I've never
some
watched the
short.
actual video. I've only watched people talking about the video. Like I
I've
can't
never
stomach
gotten through it.
it. But like she just
I've
straight up
never.
lies about the show. And I think for some shows, she's admitted that she reads. She has admitted she reads like a synopsis for spoilers before watching an actual thing.
That's fucked.
Which I don't get why. Like, imagine watching Scream and you search up who the killers are before watching the movie.
Shaggy and the other guy.
But yeah, and another thing, like I think it was a Dungeon Meshi video. Like I haven't watched Dungeon Meshi, so I haven't
I've
really
watched
focused too
it.
much on it. But apparently, people could tell that she only watched like a few episodes and then gave up, but then wrote a review like she watched all of it.
Oh, Jesus. And
So,
that's a. I assume she's
oh, she doesn't like
negative.
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say because part of it seems like she enjoys being like the contrarian.
I think
Dungeon
in
Meshi is a really popular, beloved show. She hates it. And also, I'd like to point out that as far as I'm aware, the first couple episodes are considered like the hill you have to get over. As far as I'm aware, the rest of the show goes really well.
I don't really know anything about Dungeon Meshi. If you show me a character from it, I'll know that they're from it, but I haven't like.
This is just from what I've heard.
Okay,
I've heard that like the first 4 episodes are kind of rough.
okay.
Not like terrible, but like you have to. They're like the rest of the show is green grass in comparison, so to
Yeah,
speak.
I think she is definitely in some ways a contrarian, and in other ways she's just a fucking hypocrite. Because like when she complains about people doing things and then does it, or says she doesn't like something but then likes it when another thing does it, it's just like
Happens
no,
with
there's
her
like
mind.
zero consistency in her takes.
It's like she wants to put herself up on a pedestal as different and
Mm,
unique, and is also deeply stupid.
yeah, I'm
And
gonna continue
deeply
the.
like
Oh, sorry.
hate. really stupid person.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, do you want me to continue the video?
No, yeah, we have to get through this.
Yep.
We're only a minute in.
Solo. Well, nobody watched Solo. Solo
Okay,
bombed horribly.
that's
And after
true,
that,
but
Star Wars has kept
I'm sorry, that's true. But you're not going to mention the reason is because it released right after The Last Jedi. Basically shook up. She said The Last Jedi didn't, like, Star Wars hasn't shaken up fucking media landscape. Unfortunately, The Last Jedi discourse is still affecting the internet today. It's affecting studio decisions
That-
somehow. Like, it is
Oh,
ridiculous.
wait, how long did she say the time span was that it never shook up the world?
She's at the start of it. She says, "Oh, acting like a Star Wars movie from a few years ago hasn't still impacted internet discourse." Like, no, it has. It
No,
was
it has.
somehow it's like,
Holy shit! I remember people getting mad in real life over the Last Jedi. I remember I hadn't seen the movie at the time, so I was kind of fucking with someone, and it was a guy who loves Star Wars at my school. He got genuinely like pissed
for
off
me it was
that I
weird because
brought
like
it up.
for the first week it seemed like people mostly liked it, and then it just snapped and everything changed.
It was such a major thing, like with that and like critics, like trust of critics was like, for better or worse, shaken amongst a lot of people because the
But like,
critics tend to give it higher reviews,
yeah, but
although they're
even so,
probably.
like I don't really care if someone likes a lot. The last year, I think I do need to rewatch it. It's probably not as bad as I remember having when I last
I think
watched it.
I
But like,
think
I
my
think the
favorite
worst part is just how it treats Finn's character is probably like the biggest negative from like people that like the movie have said like, yeah, how it
I think
treats
my
Finn's character is the worst. But
I think my favorite description was also from Red Letter Media. They described it like Homer Simpson's makeup shotgun,
I
which
I.
is
I think I get the idea. There's a lot of Simpsons stuff. I watched some of The Simpsons as a kid, and I'm getting YouTube shorts for it now.
it's
Yeah,
exactly what
okay.
it sounds like. It's a
But like,
shotgun that applies makeup.
okay, yeah, it's like I think Shay Frillis he mentioned this recently. He said like he's a Last Jedi centrist, so he's on like
That's
neither side of
I mean,
the
love or hate the movie, it's not the point. The point is
yeah, people
people
overreact,
were in fucking arms over it. I
and they still are,
remember it
and they
was
still are,
yeah, to this day.
and like it's
To
and
this day, people will
that
get
movie's
in
impact is it's not only affected the Star Wars franchise, but like other movie studios are looking at the Last Jedi and they're using that to inform their current decisions for better and mostly for worse. So.
usually worse.
Usually for worse, like the recent, yeah, we'll have like a focus group of fans to help us write the movies. Fuck off.
I
Fuck.
really hope that I really hope that ends in a carpet bombing.
Oh god.
They set the studio on fire with the nerds locked inside.
For
That's the
clarification, this
best
is a
way to
joke.
end it.
This is a joke.
Oh yeah, sorry, satire. Please
Yeah,
don't shoot me, satire.
but no, back to Solo quickly before I
Do not
unpause the
deliver
video.
letters to my house.
Before I unpause the video with Solo, not only did it release a few months, like not even half a year after The Last Jedi released, it decided to release at the first first quarter of the year rather than in December, which is a shake up for Star Wars. And it also released at the same
That's
time
so
as
bad.
Avengers Infinity War and Deadpool 2.
Yeah,
Solo was
Solo
fucked. It was like a
kind of
movie, like it was set up to fail, and it had like production difficulties. Like they had the director changeover, which like obviously Lord and Miller were kicked off, which maybe they would have made a better movie, but the crew was cheering when they were kicked off, so like W I guess.
Lord
So
Miller has a weird reputation.
like they make good movies, but they do not treat their crews very well.
Oh yeah, I think
Like
everyone who would
like
agree with that.
even just read like both with like Spider Verse and Mitchell's versus Machines, the animation teams have had bad things to say, and now with like the
Honestly,
Lucasfilm crew, like oh yeah,
Tarantino's
when Lucasfilm kicked them off Solo, we cheered.
it's kind of like Tarantino, where he's like a scumbag person, but like
He's
he's
a
a really good
he's a really
filmmaker.
good filmmaker, but he's a fucking freak. Like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm gonna
he's
unpause.
getting all the actresses to take off their shoes.
Oh god, that's not even that's like the least freak like the whole defending a
Oh,
pedophile
I
on a
know,
radio
but it's
show.
one that
But
everyone can observe.
yeah,
itself to books and
It goes
streaming
back to the
miniseries,
tradition
there
of
was The
perverts
Mandalorian
and
and The Book of
director's
Boba
chairs.
Fett, both continuing Dave Filoni's obsession with shoving Mandalorians into everything like he
okay,
does. There was Obi-Wan, which
that's not the fucking problem.
Sorry.
Did you miss what you said?
So
Want
wait,
me to go back?
a little bit, yeah. Just I heard it's just shoving
Okay,
stuff in with.
okay, just no, but this is not the
Okay.
just listen.
Fett, both continuing Dave Filoni's obsession with shoving Mandalorians into everything like he does. There was Obi-Wan.
That's not the problem with
What?
those shows.
No, I mean
Like
there aren't.
there are problems with Dave Filoni shoving stuff into the shows, but it's not the shoving Mandalorians into them that's the issue. I don't know. A show called The Mandalorian should be about a fucking Mandalorian.
And with the Boba Fett show, it's at least I don't think that's the problem. The idea that he has Mandalorian armor that he stole, so obviously he'd come in conflict with them.
I
It's like,
the
what the
issue
fuck are you talking
and
about?
the issue like she's saying that like the whole show that was an issue. The issue didn't. I don't think. I still like season two, like of The Mandalorian. I know a lot of people don't now, but I still like season two. But it was the beginning of the end. Yeah, like with like hindsight, it was the beginning of the end. They started bringing in more like all the backdoor pilots. It was cameos.
Things got it slowly got more and more bloated, which is a problem that isn't even close to exclusive to Star Wars. A
Oh
lot
god,
of
no.
shows start to
Especially since
crumble
like they're
over.
all like 8 or 6 episode shows, and they're trying to fit so much into it. How about just
It's
make
such
a 15 episode show? Like, how about try that?
Well, even then, it's such a common thing. It's literally got a name
Hmm.
from a show that went on for too many seasons. It's jumping the shark.
Is that where the term
Shows
comes
do
from?
it all. It comes from Happy Days. It literally
Hmm.
the episode Fonzie is like water skiing and he jumps over a bunch of sharks. It's a dream, and it's a dream. It's not real in the episode,
No.
but that's literally where the term comes
Okay.
from. He jumped the shark,
Okay.
and it's literally because the show was like just beyond parody at that point.
Hmm. Okay.
And it's so old that people you don't even know where it came
Yeah, I
from.
think I may have heard it before, but I kind of just forgot. But it's like one of those. There are like a lot of things now that the
So
terms that
it's a
have their
very old
like
reference.
obviously like I know where Flanderization comes from, but when you hear the word, you don't even think of I don't think of Ned Flanders
You don't
necessarily when I hear
necessarily.
like obviously I know that's where it comes from, but when I hear Flanderization, that is just its own word now. It's
It's
not.
become its own term. Yeah, it
Yeah.
has escaped the initial confines. Or
But
like the idea that that is an exclusive phenomenon. Star Wars is the only franchise that regularly jumps the shark. Fuck no, it isn't.
yeah, and another thing, just like
They
I know
released the
we'll just
Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford was too old for the fourth one,
we just did a
and the
fifth
fifth
one
one,
where he's even older.
and it introduced time travel, and the
I
fourth
can't.
one
I'm gonna
introduced
defend.
aliens.
I'm gonna defend the time travel in Dial of Destiny real quick. I
Don't.
liked it. It was like a storm. Like it fit the mythological thing. Like it wasn't like a time machine. It was like a compass that pointed them towards a storm. There was like a gap
It's
in time.
still a bit
I
much.
thought that was an interesting concept. I'm sorry. Like I don't. I think the
I
movie
mean,
was mid. I think the movie was mid.
I will
But I
say it's better than Aliens.
okay. Oh, actually, if you listen to George Lucas, they're not actually aliens. They're from like another
I don't
dimension.
care what he says. George Lucas also said make what's his name? What's the guy? Greedo say McClunky. George Lucas says a lot of things.
Yeah, I think I just remember one of Steven Spielberg's interviews. Like Spielberg's like, "I'm not doing aliens, George." It's like, "No, Steven, you don't see." And he just goes
Oh,
into this
right,
whole
be
explanation of
careful
like
now.
physics and aliens, like and other
George
dimensions. And
Lucas
Steven's like, "You
defending
know what?
Indiana
I'll
Jones
let you
and
cook,
Star
bro."
Wars.
But no, it is just funny
Oh,
to make
George.
Indiana Jones 5 after the fourth one, or it was already filled with like jokes about how old he was, and then like 10 years later, let's make a fifth one,
Yeah.
and
And they
then
didn't
like,
need to make a fourth one either.
hmm?
They didn't need to make a fourth one either. He was too
No, like
old.
the third one was already like a good ending. Like,
Yeah, it was a good
how does
ending.
the
And if they want
franchise
to make,
has three finale movies? The third, fourth, and fifth movie all acted the same way. Like,
if honestly, if they just made a new actor play Indiana Jones, that would be a lot better. It's
I don't
not
know.
like Harrison Ford's
I don't know.
the only actor to play
Harrison
Indiana
Ford like
Jones.
really liked it, so that's the
I
one
mean,
thing
I
about Dial of
understand he
Destiny.
was,
Like, it looks like he had fun, and good for him.
yeah, because he wasn't in Star Wars.
I don't know how true this was, but I remember hearing that his like agreement to come back in the Rise of Skywalker is that they promised they'll make an Indiana Jones 5 if he returned for that cameo,
Uh,
and that's like
well,
very funny to think about.
I mean, he wanted to go with Empire. He's been waiting a
Yeah,
long
he's been,
time for his
and they
character to
killed him
die.
in the Force Awakens, and then bring him back in the Rise of Skywalker. You can just imagine like,
I
I'm
know.
not doing
And
this. We'll greenlight Indiana Jones 5. Fine.
I didn't see a heart monitor readout of him reading like getting the call in that moment.
All
Mr.
right.
Ford, you've got
It's
a
even fun.
call waiting. Who's it
Every
from? Mr. Abrams.
yeah. every single like joke when he joined the MCU was gonna be how much he hated being in the MCU more than Star Wars, but like he actually seems to like it. Like he was up at like the
Yeah,
convention
yeah.
hulking out on stage, and it's like,
He
does he
doesn't
just?
mind nerd stuff. He just hates Star Wars for some reason.
And I kind of it's really funny. I'm just
I
gonna
I
read his
admire his dedication to hating
complain
it.
about people complaining about the Acolyte. They complained that like an actor in the Acolyte made a mistake about Star Wars in the interview, and they were just getting like really angry at him over it because he said like, "Oh, Anakin blew up the Death Star just as a mistake." But then they're all getting angry. It's like, bro, like Harrison Ford hates Star Wars and is still a good actor. Like, who gives a shit if this actor isn't familiar with Star Wars lore? He's an actor. It's not his job to know the lore. It's his job to play the character well. Like,
Yeah, let's get back to this
yeah.
garbage.
which I actually quite liked. Is it perfect? No, there's no such thing as perfect Star Wars, unless you count the Old Republic. But I expected
I'm not going to pause it too long, but I haven't played much of the Old
No, we
Republic.
can't.
But the era, some of the designs kind of confuse me because they just look like prequel era designs, but it's meant to be set like thousands of years beforehand. It's just a little
Ty, we're
gripe
not
of mine.
2 minutes in.
And
We
also,
have
she
to
likes
be.
Obi-Wan. I'm not surprised.
We
I
have to
liked it.
keep. We have
I
to
liked it when it
keep
came out as well, but it's not a great show. I just kind of fuck with some of it.
We have to stop pausing. We're
Yeah,
over
we
2 minutes.
do.
naked fan service, and what I got was that, but also one of the most genuinely emotionally gripping characters of the new canon. So yes, Disney, I like this one. Then they threw out Ahsoka, which continues Ahsoka's long-running trend of being dragged into the modern canon by a creator who straight up refuses to let her story end,
that's
and
fair.
then what does she do? Angst about being a Jedi. Hey, remember when Ahsoka first appeared and she was forcibly assigned as Anakin's Padawan because the council wanted him to experience a fraction of the grief he gave them? Good times. Then came the Acolyte, which I was actually quite interested about for a while because Acolyte is a Sith term, and so a series fundamentally about a Sith as the main character sounded really cool. But what we got was a samurai movie about the Jedi sniffing out someone who practices the dark side. And it's not like it's bad. I mean, it's fine. Like most Star Wars things, it's
I'll
just
let you
fun.
go on that one.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. Firstly,
Make it quick, please.
okay, I'm gonna try, but like Acolyte Discourse makes me fucking mad, and it makes me mad that the show got cancelled, and they cancelled it on Manny Jacinto's fucking birthday, and I feel bad for him. But
How do they
okay,
let Star Wars Samurai fail?
she's complaining that it's a Star Wars samurai show. All of Star Wars is inspired by samurai movies. Like the original trilogy was inspired by samurai movies. The prequel trilogy has samurai influence. Like, they're all inspired by samurai things. Like obviously, the Mandalorian is more like Western, like spaghetti Western, but it's still got that spaghetti Westerns took from samurai movies as well. But she's complaining about the Jedi hunting down someone for practicing the dark side, but it's not actually about the Sith. It is about the Sith, kind of. It's about someone who
That's
is a
still
Sith is in it. I don't want to get into this. I'm trying to keep it short. But the
yeah.
Jedi
Keep it.
hunting down a Darksider, the Jedi are not portrayed as the good guys in the show, and that's
It
something that
doesn't sound like it. No.
she would like, but apparently not because they're still the main characters, but they're not the good guys. And I'm guessing you don't really care about spoilers, but the main
Yeah.
character in the
Well,
show,
the audience.
she finishes the show, like she's had everything taken away from her again and again. She found out her father figure, who's this guy on screen right now, lied to her and killed one of her mothers when she was young, and she didn't know that. He killed her, apparently in self-defense. It was a complicated situation, it doesn't matter. But she finds out that he's been lying to her, killed her mum, and she gets mad, she turns to the dark side and fucking kills him. That's it's not meant to be happy, but that is her big climax, and it ends with her getting into a relationship of sorts with the Sith guy, who did kill her friends the other day, but you know, the dark side corrupts you. That's kind of the point. And obviously the show ends on a cliffhanger, which I'm not going to get into that. But
I put Lily Orchard in a room with a bunch of movies like Inglorious Bastards and shit, where it's
oh god,
like the
you
main characters are, or at least a lot of the main characters are clearly like the bad guys. You know, it focuses a lot on the
yeah.
Nazis and Glorious Bastards and shit. And I want to see what she does.
I
I
don't
want to
think
see her
she's
brain
I
crack
don't think
like
she's
an
gonna
egg.
watch any movies like Inglorious Bastards. She
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
even
because
want to
it's right
watch
for
Evangelion. Like she doesn't like and like
because it
the
has a
YouTuber
cult.
Ant, like he offered her like $400 to watch all of and review Evangelion, and she didn't respond.
Jesus Christ, what the
Like
fuck?
he offered her money just because he really wanted to react to her video,
Offer her a solid deal of.
and she just didn't do it. But she's also like called him a cum rag a few times. So
Uh,
yeah,
well, that's uncalled for.
Anyway, let's continue.
Fine. But my rule for Disney Star Wars is that I'm not coming back to it until they put the nuance back into the dark side after stripping it away.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll say this: nuance is something that all
Lily
of it
doesn't get.
needs. Well, yeah.
Every
Also, she wouldn't get it.
Lily doesn't get nuance because I was just gonna say the Acolyte already has pretty nuanced view on the dark side because the main character, the ending frames it as a happy ending when it's clearly not, and that's like it's hard to explain, but it is pretty nuanced. The Jedi aren't necessarily in the wrong here, but they're not the good guys either. But she doesn't get that. She's saying, "I'll put the nuance back in." You didn't even get the Acolyte.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, she doesn't understand the idea that studios make the decisions about shows.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
She can't process that. I don't think she can process the idea that good guys don't, or the protagonists don't have to be good guys.
Yeah, all right. Go.
A bit
She.
beyond her wheelhouse.
Imagine Lily watching Breaking Bad.
Again, I can't because it's a show made for adults.
Yeah.
Doesn't function.
Okay, here we go.
When they decanonized Legends, which means it's fine, but it's not what I want, so no thank you. Since then, I've been staying in Legends with the Old Republic trilogy and the occasional foray into the Fallen Order games. And that's not to call it bad. Most of Disney Star Wars is, like I said, it's just fine. But it's perfectly fine about subjects about Star Wars that I find uninteresting, and therefore I don't care how good they are. Fallen Order is what hits me the hardest here. The story and characters are interesting, but in making a game where your primary...
Okay, I think it's a mod to make an Old Republic character. That character in the background is not. Has she replaced Cal Kestis with an Old Republic character?
I don't think we're getting caught up on something
Sorry.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, she's. I also just know I was assuming earlier she hadn't played Fallen Order because she called Reva the most interesting villain in the current Star Wars canon. When Reva, I don't hate Reva. She was obviously racist, overhated her,
You're getting caught up.
but I will get back. I just gotta yap for a second. But Reva is just like a less good version of Trilla in Fallen Order. But apparently she's played Fallen Order, so I don't know.
method of gameplay is doing lightsaber combat. They decided to emulate Dark Souls of all things.
Yes, and it's
now,
awesome.
Those of you familiar with Star Wars
That sounds
and
like a lot
action
of
games
fun.
It
could
is.
probably already tell me what game series a Star Wars action game should emulate.
I haven't played Kingdom Hearts. Have you? Can you comment on this?
Pause immediately.
Do you want me to pause? Like, Lily loves Kingdom Hearts, so of course she's gonna fucking bring up Kingdom Hearts in a video, but
Note that being a Star Wars game, Kingdom Hearts is not the model for a Star Wars game. Or
I haven't played Kingdom Hearts, so I can't really react to this, but the way that she's
I have.
framed this is they're swinging the swords around the exact same way as they were in the Fallen Order clip, so it's kind of like, Lily, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, it's
It's obviously different, but
Kingdom Hearts has like Final Fantasy shit baked into it because it's a Square product. So certain things obviously wouldn't mix. The idea of elemental attacks like Firaga and Blizzaga, which are fire and ice attacks, those wouldn't work. What would you replace those as force abilities? Because that's clearly not 1-to-1. You're just saying, oh, it's just like a magic or special ability
in the
set.
same way, Fallen Order isn't 1-to-1 with Dark Souls either, so
Yeah, exactly.
it's like it's obviously
That's-
Dark Souls inspired. They have the fucking campfires and everything, and I love Fallen Order, but it's not 1-to-1 Dark Souls.
Dark Souls is so much better of a match than Kingdom Hearts.
Do you want to keep yapping? Do you want me to unpause?
No, there's so much I need to go over. We have to move on.
Okay.
Back off. No way.
She's just gonna keep showing Kingdom Hearts. This doesn't feel like Star Wars at all.
Don't miss
I got fucking Domino's, alright.
off pizzas this week.
Fucking
Get
Domino's.
50% off one
Oh,
to two
shit.
pizzas. And
Alright.
Thank
Can I-
God, something different.
That Kingdom Hearts gameplay does not fit Star Wars
Strongly
at all.
agree. Strongly. Oh,
What is this? And also, like, the
It's
stuff
just
getting thrown.
Leonard just
What? This. What is.
I mean, this wasn't even a question. They'd already done this before. They
That
already
is-
knew how to do this. Why the fuck is a Jedi waddling around like he's got bricks strapped to his dick? But hey, a lot of people like this one. Evidently, Dark Souls with lightsabers is a winning combo, so what the hell do I know? But that's been my experience. They aren't making things in Star Wars for me anymore, so I'm sticking with the things
This
that
isn't a
were
Kingdom
for
Hearts,
me.
Okay, that's
Well,
actually-
well, hang on,
at
Lil.
all.
If that's
Wait, sorry. What were you saying?
I was saying the footage she's showing of the older game is not like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, and also I don't like obviously the Force Unleashed is a power fantasy. I'm just not super into that for Star Wars. I'm nothing against the Force Awakens. It's not really my kind of thing. I prefer Fallen Order, but I do like
You said the Force Awakens.
I do like Lily's take here. She says like I'm not really into new Star Wars, so you just go back and play the older stuff. I respect that a lot more than the average Star Wars fan on Twitter. I do have to give her
It's
that.
almost as if she should have kept doing that and kept her
It-
mouth shut.
Yeah, it's bare minimum, but it is better than 90% of Star Wars fans. So good job, Lily.
Well, everything else is worse so far.
the case, why do you think Star Wars is fine? Well, first of all, I am eternally picky about media I consume, so me liking something isn't really a prerequisite to it being good, or
Yeah,
even
same way
fine. There's a lot of
fucking
media out there
toddler
that I
is.
don't like, and people ask me, what's wrong with it? And I can only say, nothing, really. See, the thing about Star Wars is that it's always
No.
been a
Actually, she doesn't say nothing. She gets angry on her Tumblr and sends herself
Well,
anonymous
no,
self
she does
asks.
say nothing. That's not true. She says a lot of words, but none of them mean anything. So
Okay,
she
that's-
doesn't say anything.
Alright, that's true. Alright.
massive mainstream multimedia monopoly. It's so big that it's always done a little bit of everything. It's just that a lot of people didn't really know that because pre-Disney, Star Wars existed everywhere but film and TV. You had the 6 movies and then eventually Clone Wars, and that was about it. Behind that curtain, however, Star Wars had an ocean of books, comics, and video games that kept telling a lot of
still
really
do.
diverse and interesting
They still
stories.
do
Hell,
have a
just
ton of
looking
books
at
and
the video
comics.
games alone, it's like,
Yeah.
here are some 8-bit platformers. Okay, this one's exclusive to Japan and Darth Vader is actually a scorpion. Now we're 16-bit action games. Now we're a 3D pseudo-isometric action. I think we actually invented this genre.
This
Now we're a
across,
kart
like,
racer.
20 years.
Now we're whatever
Yeah.
this is, a kind of action game crossed with a 3D
Also,
point
Star
and click adventure
Wars
game.
always
Okay,
had
now we're an
different
engineering
genres of
simulator for
games that
children.
it used.
Yeah, I don't really get her point here because like yeah, sure. I do think it would be nice if we did get this much stuff again, but it's not really like an issue if we don't
A
either.
lot of them also were like right around the beginning, like the prequels.
Yeah,
where
and they're
were,
also just like
you
they're
know,
like all tie-in games as well. And tie-in like
yeah,
tie-in
well,
this
tie-in
isn't
is the
exclusive
point,
to Star
but,
Wars. Like tie-in games just don't really exist anymore.
you don't have many Harry Potter games coming out now because there are not many movies coming out now.
No, but it's also like even if they did, like you know how we every time a big movie came out, we got a tie-in video game. Even if they weren't good, we got them.
That's also
They don't really
one-off,
exist. They don't really exist anymore.
because they take time and money, which these people would rather spend on Bugattis
Yeah. All right. Let's.
as opposed to
You
the
can make
products
horrible
that they make for a
abominations.
living.
Okay, now we're a fighting game where everyone's
rather
learning
just
secret
invest
anti-Jedi
themselves in
kung
the
fu. Okay, now we're an MMO,
making
but
of
like a
shit.
pre-World of Warcraft MMO that's weirdly arcane and difficult, and you have to build the city yourself, and there's like no plot. Okay, now we're a city builder, but the city builds itself while you have to create a balanced
Why don't you
ecosystem that
get a
doesn't kill
jabber
itself.
on
Now
that
we're just a
thing?
full-on lightsaber combat game where you get to flip and jump around like Anakin on ketamine. Okay, now we're a deep and character-focused RPG from one of the best developers in the industry. Okay, sequel to
Okay,
that,
wait.
but we're gonna completely turn Star
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
You said that she left a comment about that. That was the joke she left a comment about.
She meant to say amphetamines, not ketamine. That was it.
Wait, she got it. She apologized.
For getting the joke right.
Ketamine
Yeah.
is an upper. I think
Yeah.
the joke still makes sense if it was.
It still makes sense, but maybe she wanted the alliteration. I don't know. Also, she's again, I haven't played the Old Republic games.
She's not
She's a big.
clever enough to go with alliteration.
It doesn't matter,
This
man.
is
She's.
Lily Orchard.
I don't know, man. It's a bit. I don't. Who cares, man? Who cares? Lily doesn't care. Maybe
Do
she
you really
does care.
think she has that level of writing skill?
I was gonna make a joke, but I said before I called you in that I wasn't gonna bring up the allegations. We're not gonna go there.
The Lily Orchard
No, wait.
allegations of
We're not going there. But she is like a big Old Republic fan, and she brings it. She's brought up in a lot of her videos, so probably a decade at this point. But I did hear someone talking about one of the characters, and not only does this character, I just don't really like the. I can't remember it completely because I haven't played these games. I don't like the concept of this character, but also Lily does misrepresent them a bit. I think it was a dark side user, but also falling more on the gray, and I don't like. Grey Jedi aren't a fucking thing, and people need to stop making them a thing. I'm sorry. I'll continue the video.
Wars' entire concept of ethics and morality on its head and make the franchise light side good, dark side evil dichotomy feel hollow and unsatisfying for the rest of your life. Now we're Devil May Cry.
I'll just say, the dark side is evil, but the light side isn't necessarily good. That is, you still there?
Yeah, no, those
Yeah,
are not correlate like
because the dark side is like
correlation
a
causation.
corruption. The dark side is like a corruption, so it is inherently evil. But the light side isn't inherently good.
Yeah.
There are plenty of
Again,
people
all
on the
point
light side that are
equals.
bad. Okay, alright.
Okay, now what if we introduce the concept of actually satisfying character-based storytelling to the MMO genre and cause the two biggest MMOs to trip over themselves to do the same thing? Okay, now we're Sim Tower on the Death Star.
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
now we're a Connect game
Hell
where you
yeah,
defeat
let's
the
go.
Emperor by having a dance-off with Darth Vader.
Okay, are you making some of those up?
Nope, they're all real. Probably worth the Google.
The books are even more extreme,
A bit of
spanning the gulf of
editorializing
kitsch
on
70s
some of
style
them.
science fiction to retellings of films from the exclusive POV of a single character to an episodic set of adventures of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Hey, do you remember Qui-Gon's evil apprentice Xanatos?
That's stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. Legends has a lot of issues. Like, I respect it, and there's nothing wrong with liking it.
We
But
don't need to. We don't need to go over this.
okay, but I just
This
want to say,
again,
like,
we're getting caught
a
up.
lot of people act like it was always canon, but it was never meant to be canon, and like Lucas himself decanonized a lot of it just because it
I mean,
wasn't written
basically,
without.
we can boil this down to Lily Orchard has pointed out that Star Wars has a lot of things.
Star Wars
Has a
has
lot
things, no
of things.
way.
It
Decades
has a
old
lot of
franchise has
products with
things.
Star Wars. Star Wars has a lot of products under its belt. No shit, you couldn't have told me that in less words.
Yeah. And
Wasting my fucking time.
books still exist. Like, she's acting like they don't still make books and comics. Like, if she doesn't know about them, sure, but they still exist. There's still a lot of them. Like,
It's
they didn't go away.
just stupid.
Who, like, turned to the dark side and burned his cheek with a ring like a little emo bitch and became Space Jeff Bezos and killed himself by jumping in acid? Do
fuck?
you remember Xanatos? To midquels inside the films, to entire multi-book sagas that could have been entire film trilogies on their own, to an entire book where you learn that the business on Cato Nemoidia was Obi-Wan getting high on airborne fungus, to an entire story about force-immune super aliens whose weapons are snakes, to spending 30 years of books with Jason and Jaina and coming to love them so much, only for Jason to turn to the dark side and having to watch Jaina kill him. You want to talk playing the long game? Fucking hell, guys. That's just kind of what Star Wars was.
Yeah, but again, this isn't I don't have a problem with Legends inherently. I do like the idea of anyone can come in, write their own thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be canon. You can just do whatever the fuck you want. I think that is cool. But a lot of that is just really stupid to me. Like, a lot, a lot of that is just.
I mean, the idea that like extra media needs to specifically go to the first set is silly.
Alright.
Like, yeah, obviously the strict coherence is gonna fuck you over. You can't have someone who's being brought in to like write on for the secondary piece of media know everything that they need to know.
Mm.
It's ridiculous. Taking a history class is
Yeah.
less complicated.
Yeah, no, like, I do think
Like, I was speaking as
some
a
people's,
Doctor Who
like,
fan,
yeah,
where the canon is broken 24/7
Mm.
in the main show.
let alone the spin-off material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like comics or any other things. For the most part, it's constantly breaking itself in half. But it's yeah, you just have to deal with it. And luckily with Doctor Who, it'll probably change because when someone else comes in and decides to fuck with that canon fuckery in itself,
Yeah.
it becomes like the weirdest game of like dominoes ever. Not
Yeah,
dominoes, like
I do think
oh,
some people's reliant on the Star Wars canon is stupid. Like, again, the Acolyte had this whole Kiadi Mundi age discourse, and it was fucking stupid. But the I think I don't want to being a centrist is dumb, but I'm gonna be a centrist here. The over reliance on canon, like the strictness, the rigidity, that's stupid. But the kind of just when it's like when you want to have like a coherent story thing, the legend style is fucking letting anyone do anything. Everything's like contradicting itself. You got some stuff that
you
just sounds
want
like the
coherent
most
story, you have to go
stereotypical
somewhere
fan
else.
fiction concepts, like the force-proof aliens. That just sounds like something a 13-year-old would come up with because they think it's really cool. Which I guess
I
that's
mean, you're
why
saying
Lily
that,
likes
like,
it because
some
she hasn't changed since she was 15. So,
yeah. I mean, what you're saying is that they should have some coherence,
yeah,
but it shouldn't be like a strict
like you should
application.
do the story comes before. I think the narrative comes before the canon, but you should still try to fit the canon.
And also, like look at Doctor Who's like Big Finish stories, which are like the audio stories that popped up during when the show was off the air. For God's sakes, they gave the Sixth Doctor a shapeshifter companion that's pretty much always in the shape of a penguin, named Frobisher. He's a penguin shapeshifter. His name is Frobisher, and he loves to swim. There's one story about him becoming a false prophet idol,
What?
and this is a real character that they came up with.
See, when you first started explaining it, it did just sound like the typical fanfic OC, but honestly, he sounds pretty cool.
He's dope as fuck.
Um,
He's again like this thing. You can go a little further with it, and then it'll be okay.
I'm gonna unpause the video.
Yeah.
There was always something for everyone, no matter what you liked. And it was the only franchise that could ever really do that. That's why for so long, people always thought you could slap Star Wars onto anything and it would sell. Because Star Wars was literally everything. But Lily,
And
that
it still
diversity isn't
does,
there
really.
anymore.
Yeah.
It's all quippy action flicks and
Not-
Game of Thrones style
For
soap
better or for
operas
worse.
and slow plotting
What do
AAA
you-
action adventure.
Why'd you say Game of Thrones style and then show a clip of the Obi-Wan show? What?
They both have like people with beards.
True. That's.
They both
But she's
got
still
dirty
saying like
dudes with beards.
she went like everything's quippy action, but also Game of Thrones style drama, also action adventure games. Those are not the same. They're inherently different things, though. You just contradicted yourself, Lily. Like,
Ugh.
and
Game
you
of
still.
Thrones, this slow burn
And again,
power creep or power battle
yeah.
show versus quippy, high paced action. What the fuck are you talking about?
And she's already like. Again, I already gathered she hasn't read the current comics, but like some of them, like the initial, like, I think it was a 2017 Darth Vader run, was a lot like it had some action stuff. It was mostly like slower paced drama, him dealing with his trauma and pushing it away, and just falling further and further into the dark side. It was like interesting stuff. That's not the same as, I don't know, pulling up the Rise of Skywalker. It's a very different thing, very different tonally. Or even just like other comics, like Doctor Aphra, she's more of like an Indiana Jones, like, archaeologist, rogue type. That's just not the same thing, like, inherently. Alright, whatever.
Games. You are right.
I mean,
Star
there's
Wars
not
has
this-
lost its
yeah.
diversity of storytelling over the years. Even when they were still making films, Disney Star Wars films were more concerned with discussing the legacy of Star
Okay,
Wars
that's
as
true.
a concept. You know, like
Right,
that
that's
same
true.
trap Superman gets locked into. But the
What?
thing you're
Yeah.
missing
What?
is that's
Okay.
not a Star Wars problem or even a Disney problem. That's just what the entertainment industry is now. It's what
Okay, I'll give her that. That's kind of true, but I feel like The Force
Ouch,
Awakens.
she said something actually
That's
intelligent.
true. The
How'd
Force
she gonna fuck
Awakens
that?
was kind of like a big push in that, but I think it was a thing before The Force Awakens. I think that just helped
And I think
put the
certainly
nail in the
saying
coffin.
that's an industry wide problem is true. How's she gonna fuck this up?
Alright, let's keep going.
films, TV,
She's
and
fit-
games
what's
have
she gonna
slowly
say that's
metastasized
stupid?
into over the last 15 years. You can't look at
True.
Star Wars as a unique entity in a world where the streaming ghetto has homogenized genres down to the safest, bingeable kind of
Right,
soap
that's
opera.
true.
And don't
That's-
even get me started on the gaming side of it. This
Okay.
kind of
Again,
plodding, slow,
she's
boring
gonna fuck it up.
Do you gonna fuck it up? Let's. Oh, she's gonna complain about Dark
approach to
Souls.
gameplay is what action games just
She's gonna do
are
something
now
stupid.
after
Just
From
give it a minute.
Software ruined action games
Not every
forever.
game is like Dark Souls. She's just saying that she just said every
Not
action
every
game is like Dark.
Souls, and the
Jesus,
idea.
Lily,
and
play
the-
more games.
Does she hold on? She did just say From Software ruined action games.
Yeah.
Also, Kingdom Hearts style games still exist too.
She's look. This is like the thing where Lily complains
The Final
every.
Fantasy VII remake was the Kingdom Hearts style. What are
This
you
is like
talking about?
she complains that every single thing is like this. Like, Lily, just watch more shows. Like, not everything is
Or
like that.
play
Just watch
less
more shows.
games like this and you don't like it.
Yeah.
If you want, also, she's complaining about like everything is like Dark Souls. It's not. But then she's like, it should be more like Kingdom Hearts, and it's like, well,
But that's the
you
same
don't
problem
care.
though.
Yeah,
just-
you don't care that you don't think it's like everything else. You just don't like that it's like this. You want everything to be like Kingdom Hearts, not Dark Souls.
But like
That's your problem. Is that
it's
you
the
want more Kingdom
same.
Hearts, not less Dark Souls.
It's just part of the self-centered worldview, I guess. It's like
More
she
Goofy
frames it
getting
as a general problem of everything being too similar. But to her, the problem isn't that everything's the same. It's that the same isn't what she likes.
not the thing she yeah, she's not the
Yeah.
same thing she likes. I mean, that's what it's like. You just want more of Goofy to be able to yell Sora and then get hit in the head with a fucking boulder.
That is kind of funny though.
That's canonical. He does get hit in the head with a boulder.
Isn't Donald like one of the canonically most powerful sorcerers in like?
I fucking hate that. We're moving on.
Okay.
And shunted the real action games, they would have been better off
No,
emulating into the spectacle fighter
keep
bubble.
going.
Big studio
We're not
games are
discussing
required to
that.
be these
Play the
big
video.
graphics powerhouses and
Oh, but she
absolutely
hates Baldur's
massive
Gate
in
3, by the
scope,
way.
and so
She
a
likes
lot
the
of those
first two because
genres
she
get
played them as a
killed
kid, but she hates the
entirely or
third
end up
one.
watered down into universally appealing soup. You want to talk what happened to Star Wars? It's the same thing that happened to
Okay, pause.
Fallout.
Pause. Oh, yeah. What you want to say?
I understand the idea of complaining about like the idea that every game is like trying to live up to this crazy high graphic standard,
That's true.
but Baldur's Gate doesn't do that.
Oh no, she hates.
Baldur's Gate is
I think she hates Baldur's Gate 3 for other reasons, and her Baldur's Gate 3 video, she talks about Baldur's Gate 3 for like 30 seconds, and the rest of the video is about 1 and 2. And she includes mods when talking about the game's quality, but mods are not canon to the game, so I don't get why.
obviously not. Yeah,
But she acts like they are, she talks like they are, so.
let's just continue.
Yep.
You want to talk what happened to Star Wars? It's the same
God, we're
thing
not
that
even
happened
halfway
to
through.
Fallout and Baldur's Gate. This isn't just my opinion. People have caught on in recent years that the 2010s push for streaming ended up killing a lot of
People
interesting
caught on,
movies
you
and
and
series,
your
but nobody
reflection.
really knows why, and the reason why was the business model had changed. There's a clip people pass around a lot of Matt Damon explaining that the loss of the DVD made a lot of non-blockbuster films a bigger risk because they had lost an entire revenue stream that they had previously been able to
true.
rely on. And that killed entire swaths
does
of
this have to
films
do
that
with
straight up couldn't
anything?
cover their
This doesn't
expenses
have to do
anymore
with this, but
between
it's
the
true,
budget,
but-
marketing, and splitting with movie theaters.
I mean, yeah,
My
it's,
favorite
you know,
films
they
are
can
all
talk
from
about
this era. Hell, my
theoretical
favorite film
physics,
of
and it
all
can still be
time.
right.
Well, yeah, this is just another thing though. A lot of the true things she says are just like plagiarized from other people. Like that wasn't
Yeah,
plagiarized because she was just straight up quoting Matt Damon. But like a lot of things people have noticed is like a lot of things she says is like vaguely true. She has just copied from other people,
that does not surprise
or
me.
even like
And also,
even like other
when
things
she
that aren't true.
says things,
Uh,
this is
sorry,
the
what?
thing, when she says things that aren't true, they're almost like miasmas of nowhere. They come from nowhere,
Yeah, they're
and
not
they're
related to
true,
the rest of the
and
video.
they
Like it's
don't
true,
relate to
but
anything.
no correlation. Like you're right, but where's the correlation?
Yeah,
But
like,
another
a
thing,
lot of things or a lot of pieces of media end up being similar. Anyways, Dark Souls sucks. Here, buy Kingdom Hearts. Like, what?
and I
What
think
are you
I
talking?
remember I was watching people react to one of her videos, and I think she even misunderstands some of Kingdom Hearts, which is even funnier. But
Wouldn't
But
surprise me.
with like her plagiarism stuff, I think another thing she did was in the Steven Universe video when she claims that Steven Universe is racist actually, and she tries to so yeah, here's these black women that say this. There's two articles, possibly written by the same person going under different aliases, or maybe one plagiarized the other. It's unclear. And both articles are like one of them is proved to be written by like a black person, but so maybe it's not my place. But like some other people to point out, they're like really racistly written, like.
Maybe it's self-hating.
Yeah,
Either way,
that's what people like. One of them, people said like there was no proof it was written by a black person. They just claimed to be. So it's kind of like no, this just reads like a 4chan post. But
I'm going to assume that the it was just for clickbait for
but
one.
like both of them, there was
Better.
also they could have been written by the same person just based on context clues. But it was they weren't. It was not a good article. It was a
Shocking.
horrible article, and that's what she chose to plagiarize as her proof. But anyway,
Yeah. Lovely Orchard did something deeply stupid. What a surprise.
whoa, who would have guessed?
Time, and the reason I
Next thing
keep
you tell me
banging the
water's
drum
good
of
for me.
low-stakes storytelling is John Q. It's a film about a man whose son needs a life-threatening heart
Correlation?
transplant, and after getting dicked around by the American
What the
healthcare
fuck is
system,
she
straight up
talking
takes a
about?
hospital hostage at gunpoint to get his son the surgery he needs. It's an absolutely amazing thriller that touches on an issue
What
that
does this
was
have to do
relevant
with
in
Star Wars?
2002 and is
Why
even
is
more
she
relevant
talking about
today.
this movie?
This video is about Star Wars.
Bury my son!
What the fuck am I
Okay,
watching?
thank you, ad.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
fuck
God,
off.
the ad.
Fuck off, it's one of these
Oh
ads.
no, it's more psychic damage.
My son is gonna bury me.
This channel usually covers animation,
Why
and
the
I'm
fuck
often
did
fond
she
of
start
saying that
talking
during the
about a
90s and
Denzel
2000s,
Washington
there was a
movie?
lot of variety that
Why
just
is it
isn't
Kim
seen there,
Possible
and this was the
now?
case throughout the entire industry.
Yes,
And the
Outlaw.
reason
Why
for that
why
was
is it going?
syndication. It didn't
Okay.
actually matter if a show had
Star
low
Trek?
ratings, because even after it was over, the network could sell it as a package to other channels to fill empty time slots in their broadcast. This encouraged studios to greenlight a lot more shows with a lot
Okay,
more
this is
variety.
true, but this
It's also why 65 episodes for an entire
And
series
then she
became the
showed footage
standard,
of
because that was the
TNG,
ideal
which is
package
like
size for
one of
syndication.
the most wildly successful shows.
Mm. Yeah, maybe not the
If she
correct.
showed the original Star Trek and then TNG, that would make sense because that is what happened. But if she just shows TNG, then that doesn't work.
Mm. I think sometimes she doesn't really
The
pay
original,
attention to what clip she's using. Also, she's just a very big sitcom fan, and I think she really likes Friends from like another thing that I remember seeing. So
so her taste gets worse.
yeah,
Friends is like
she.
the
I think
worst
she's.
sitcom.
Is she also a Big Bang Theory fan? I think she was. I can't remember. I could be wrong.
Oh my god!
Yeah, she's gone on like
You know,
tangents,
I think
ranting about how sitcoms are actually really good, and we need to bring back the classic
I
sitcoms. It's
mean
like, I mean, no, they
sitcoms aren't
can be good, but
necessarily
like, I think she's complained about how they've like evolved over the years and haven't stagnated and stayed the same. I think that's just because she herself has stagnated and stayed the same for about a decade. But
I mean, even then, there are plenty of sitcoms you can back and watch and have fun. But I think I relate. I think I finally get it because she is kind of like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory in that I want to throw her off of the Hoover Dam.
that's a joke.
Just
That's a joke. Yes, in Minecraft.
yes, I don't live near the Hoover Dam. It'd
Okay,
take quite a while.
all right. Okay, we're gonna
On
continue.
the other side of the country.
Dude, we're barely halfway through. We're not even halfway through the video.
We're almost to halfway point.
Went off the air in
Grab a
2004 and has been the
drink.
punching bag of Twitter users for almost as long, yet it still makes $1 billion annually
Wait,
because
almost as like sorry, she didn't say almost as long. I was gonna say like I
Well,
don't
who
think
the fuck
Twitter
is
existed
shitting
in
on Friends?
2004, and people only just started like going, yeah, Friends isn't that good actually in like recent years, which fair enough. Like the rest of my family really likes Friends, so I can't really say this around them, but I it's kind of mid. It
I don't care for it either.
like it's not
But
terrible, but I don't
also,
give a
it's
shit.
not No, it's not even like the worst. I'd say Big Bang Theory is worse. But also, what the fuck does people hating it on Twitter have to do with like?
Star Wars.
Also, yeah, like the idea that it makes money. No shit, it's
It's
Friends.
yeah, like
It
Friends
just
makes
it's
money.
like I don't give a shit if it makes money. I want it to be good.
Yeah.
Make
Again,
product
this.
good first, and we can talk.
Alright, let's just keep going.
of syndication on network TV.
Hey, man, let me stop this. I just had like a really funny thought of, can you imagine Lily watching Always Sunny?
Oh my god, you should melt. You melt like the Wicked
She
Witch.
just like open episode 1 and it just has like the gang gets racist.
Yeah, her head would spin like in The Exorcist.
Alright, that was just a funny thought in my head. I'm gonna continue now. Hopefully I don't get copyright struck by the Friends theme song.
Even if you hate it,
God.
you can't
Well,
argue
I
with
could
that kind
I
of
should have
profit.
screamed
Now,
over
admittedly,
it.
that's one of the most
Also,
popular
just because of
sitcoms
that
ever.
caption.
But even low-end shows can remain profitable for a long time and even reach a bigger audience. When I was
That's
a kid,
true.
me and my
Never
brother were
low
really
end.
into a
Yeah, but
cartoon
Friends,
called
You
yeah,
say
Friends was not the correct, that was true, but Friends is not the correct example for that. Like,
choose something for the people who Always Sunny, like you said.
or
That's
like,
a show where it started from people like from three guys who were like writing and starring and all this other shit. That's more ramshackle than Friends, which like even at the time, yeah, Jennifer Aniston was in Leprechaun previously, so she wasn't coming off the most illustrious career, but she was still a notable name.
yeah.
David Schwimmer, fucking whatever else, whoever else. These were not nobodies.
Also, like, she's talking about things that started off not too big and then became successful, like, after they were finished or later down the line, which is, like, a big thing with TV. Like, again, if she wanted to actually talk about Star Wars, she could talk about how the Clone Wars started off not very well liked, but then it had time to grow and
It
became a
started
beloved
pretty
show.
hated.
Like, it started
Most
off,
of the
like,
time, like
really
it
hated, and then it became one of the most loved pieces of Star Wars media. If she wanted to actually, this
was
video is about Star Wars, the fucking Clone Wars is a better example than
our
Friends here.
friends.
But,
Yeah, like
and
like
not,
Friends was almost an immediate hit. It was a cultural phenomenon.
and this
It was
isn't like a
one of
TV show, so maybe it's not her point, but like John Carpenter's The Thing didn't do too successfully
that's a
when it was
perfect.
in
I mean,
cinemas, and then
it's
when it came to home media, it made a lot of money.
that's the thing. Like Willy Wonka, the original. that movie didn't do well in theaters. When it started getting reruns on TV during the 80s, it became a well-loved classic. And also a lot of the other John Carter, I think every other movie he made in the 80s was like
Okay.
a bomb as well.
Fuck.
Big Trouble in Little China,
It's
They
just
Live. None
I
of
just
them
like
did well.
imagine like a universe where the Thing was like financially successful in cinemas. Like how different would his career be if that?
Oh, oh,
God.
I wish. I wish.
Anyway,
We
let's
wouldn't
stop.
have had to have him make vampires.
Okay, we're gonna continue the video.
We could just
It's alive.
forget
And the
about that
point where we
better
got into it
timeline.
was 3 years after it was canceled after only one season because it was syndicated literally everywhere because, hey, this 42 episode series would be really good to shove on during the hour between
Yeah,
when the
that's
kids
true.
wake up
This
and
is
when they
true,
go
but
to
what
school.
the
I
fuck
found
does
a
this have to
lot
do
of
with
shows
Star
I
Wars?
love this way. Some of the
Yeah,
most
shows
beloved
get
and popular shows
shafted a
ever
lot of
made
times.
She's talking
were
about
Wanted to
MASH.
syndicated decades after the fact, making them a pop culture staple long after they had ended and most of
True,
the
but
actors
why are
had
we
passed
talking about MASH in
away.
a Star
Don't even
Wars
get me
video?
started on when DVD came in and
Yeah,
Why are
Doctor
we
Who was
talking about MASH in a
popular.
Star Wars video?
Why are we talking about MASH, period? What does this have to do with anything?
She's talking about how like
MASH was a
reruns
show
kept
that
it,
was really popular and got a lot of reruns.
but she is talking
Yes.
about how like the
What do you
reruns
think?
kept it popular years down the line, which is true because like I grew up with MASH on the TV and like I grew up in like let's just say like the
Then,
late 2000s and MASH is still on the TV. So
I mean, yeah, like Gunsmoke. That's another show that's constantly on
I'm not
certain
too familiar with that. I
channels.
don't know. My mum really liked MASH, so it was on the TV a lot.
Well, it's a
So
more American thing, to be fair.
okay,
That show, was made for like almost 1,000 episodes, and it's like just it's a cowboy show.
okay.
That's basically what it is. And it gets it. I think there's a channel that pretty much only runs Gunsmoke on my like cable provider.
I think there's some like new channels that have like new meaning in the last 5 years. That have on like normal net. I don't have cable. I just only ever had network TV. But there's like this
Yeah,
channel that basically only reruns like old shows. I remember like I think I turned it
that
on.
happens all the
And I
time.
know like there's some that have come to like cable as well. I remember it's just the cable show just only running like Magnum PI. I think that was just the whole. Well, there was
Why do you
one
have
channel.
those ones
There's
in
this whole channel on
Griffith?
like network TV, right? They made it was just like the network. They just opened up a new channel that only plays Seinfeld. The whole channel was just fucking Seinfeld nonstop.
Is the channel address 1,738
No, I don't. What?
to
No.
1738?
No. Oh god. No. Um, here at least the network TV, the numbers only go up to like 100. All the numbers in the hundreds
I
are
mean,
like
to
all
be fair,
cable. I don't know if that's the case
oh
for
yeah,
you.
that's the same thing. But
Okay.
also, to be fair,
Yeah,
even
you wanted to
after
make the joke. You wanted to
well,
make the joke. I get it.
well, also like once you go up to 1,000, it's like music, like channels that just play
That's
like
true.
lounge music or
Yeah, that's
whatever.
true.
It's a weird thing. Anyways,
Anyway, we're gonna
uh,
continue.
yeah,
She's
no,
talking
what
about
the fuck does
MASH.
this have to do with anything?
This video is
Because
about Star Wars.
these
the
shows
videos
were
about
getting
Star Wars, we're talking
packaged
about
up
TV
again. This was a time
syndication.
where just the business model of TV meant that preserving shows was profitable. The internet is so obsessed with preservation and lost
Why do we
media.
have
A
footage of
lot of
Archie
shows are
Bunker now? What's
only still
happening?
preserved to this day because they were syndicated from 70s and
Lily, if you wanted to make a video about like the downfall of
Not
network
TV.
TV, make a video about the downfall of network TV. Like this is something like she makes a video and then chooses to talk about something else. Like just make a video for the other thing instead. Like this isn't a Star Wars
Going
video.
through like, the
Make a
greatest
video
hits
about
of
network
the 19
TV. Like
she's going through the greatest sitcoms of the 1970s. We've got fucking All in the Family now. I'm expecting Andy Griffith to show up if we keep going
yeah.
backwards.
I'm surprised she also just hasn't brought up her love, like, because obviously she's Canadian, and I have a soft spot for some Canadian shows because a lot of Canadian shows were played in Australia a lot, and a lot of Australian shows were Canadian
We only got
co-productions.
animated
But
ones.
like, she's like diehard defended them to like a weird extent. So she tried to say, oh, gay representation that was like really good in Canadian shows in like the late '90s, early 2000s, and the example she plays is like the one of the worst stereotypes of a gay person you've ever seen.
I mean, like, it's, yeah.
And
I was
it's
gonna
like,
say,
Lily, that's not good representation, Lily. And then just
oh,
gets angry at
God,
like and again gets angry at Gravity Falls when like we know for a fact Alex Hirsch wanted to put like better representation, but Disney literally stopped him.
they
But she
stopped
gets
him
but she gets angry at the people making the shows and not the network, and it's like fucking
because she
hell.
doesn't understand because she's an idiot.
She doesn't understand that it's their choice. Like, oh, why are the gay cops the only representation? And it's like, why are they not? Like, Jesus, he wanted more. He wanted more. God.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm
At
gonna
least we got the final scene with them saying we're mad with power and love.
I'd love. And also, like the names are like Blubs and Derlin because it sounds like Derlin sounds like darling. Apparently, that's the reason.
I did never caught on to that,
Because
honestly.
I think it's the scene in the finale when like Derlin gets unfrozen from the. Oh, because he says my Blubs. It sounds like my love.
I don't know. I just never caught on to that
I
meaning.
didn't
Why?
know. So I had someone else pointed out to me. They saw that clip. Like, oh, it's because Blubs and Derlin
Is
sounds like
that
my love
so?
and darling.
Is that like supposed to be that way?
I don't. Maybe it
Was
was
it,
just for that scene. Maybe it was just for that one scene they did that.
I just thought it was because they sounded like goofy ass fucking
Maybe
cop
that's probably the
partners.
reason. Whoever was writing the finale just said, "Hey, the names kind of sound like my love and darling. Let's just do that."
I think it's just
Yeah,
coincidence.
it could be. Again, we're
We're
getting
getting
Lily's
distracted by
making us get off traffic
Tyrannapus.
off topic now. Let's
She's done it again.
the brain rot, the psychic damage.
God damn it. Drink.
80s broadcasts well into the days of the DVR. Hell, if you grew up in the 90s, you probably watched a lot of cartoons
80
from the
She-Ra
80s,
footage.
even if they went off
Oh,
the
dude, she thinks Catra and the what's her name is incest, by the way, which is
Oh,
I could say a lot. I'm not. Um,
incest.
because she thinks that they were raised as siblings.
They're
I
not
haven't watched the show.
sisters.
I haven't watched the show, but from what I heard, they were raised together as child soldiers. Those are not
Oh,
siblings.
yeah.
They were raised
They're
together,
not
but not as
siblings. Like,
siblings. Like that's.
even at the beginning of the show, they're best friends. They're treated as best friends, not siblings.
And then she also says it romanticizes abuse because they're on opposite sides of the war for a bit before Catra redeems herself. I haven't watched the show, but from people that have watched the show that don't have brain rot like Lily,
Brain damage.
they
No,
have said that that's not the case.
no,
So
it's not.
just because they were raised by the same person, it doesn't make them adopted siblings because they were raised as soldiers, not as kids.
Yeah, they weren't raised properly,
Yeah.
and even, yeah, like the first episode is them like treating each other like best friends, not
Again,
like siblings.
I'm not gonna trust Lily to talk about sibling relationships. So I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah,
Someone had a
speaking of, let's
VHS or
move on.
DVD to rip. But while syndication is still around today, the advent of Netflix binge watching and hyper serialization means it's not as reliably bankable.
Of
Syndication
course, she's got to complain about serialization, but we're gonna
works best for episodic shows that can
Yeah,
be
as if
watched
she
out of
hasn't
order,
said
which means
enough.
most soap operas couldn't be syndicated,
Fucking-
and the current
Fuck
trend of
Pong
making
Prell.
shows
Fuck
shorter
you,
to be
Pong Prell.
easier to binge
Fuck that
means
bitch.
they don't make for ideal syndication packages
Hold on.
anyway. Couple all of this with the fact that a lot of these shows are trying really hard to emulate the look and feel of cinema, and you have shows with large budgets needing to fit
God,
into
I
a
hate the
subscription
lighting
model,
in
which are
Kenobi.
therefore shorter
The
and more
lighting is
homogenous
so
than
fucking
ever
dog
for
shit.
mass
This
appeal.
looks like
It's the
a
problem we discussed
foggy
regarding video
asshole.
games. The industry has pushed towards a more lavish style of production, but the studios involved are penny pinching like crazy. See, even if you didn't like it, the advantage of having a ratings powerhouse like Friends constantly earning $1 billion every year was that the studio and network could eat a loss, and they had a 24-hour schedule to fill
wouldn't.
anyway, and
That's the
making a less
thing.
popular show to fill a time slot
They'd
and get
still
some
invest
money
in
was better than
Friends
getting
because
no
that's what's
money
making
for
the money.
dead air.
Think
Broadcast
they're going
television
to
was kind
invest
of a
in other
user
shows? This is network television we're talking about. They're just going to give David Schwimmer more money for his
Yeah,
face.
she is also kind of just making like a whole romanticizing the past thing, where it's like, oh, it's just she's like a lot of these problems. Like obviously, it may have been better in some cases then, but a lot of these problems that she's discussing exist now also existed back then. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's acting as if these problems of network fuckery haven't always existed. But then earlier in the video, she's saying this is not new. Motherfucker, which is
contradictory. Is this like the brain rot or the plagiarism doing the
this is a
contradictory stuff
tumor.
here?
This is a
Um,
tumor. Stage fucking benign. Or not benign, fucking terminal.
if it was a tumor that like justifiably explained the
Tumor on my
behavior,
system.
that would be like maybe there's a redemption because there's this crazy shit. Brain tumors are fucking
Oh,
crazy.
she's so fucking crazy.
No, but like some people, like it completely changes your. It's like fuck. Like imagine your
I know.
personality
It's
just
like
changes one day.
someone giving her an X-ray, and just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a massive fucking tumor. That explains why she's such a bitch.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna continue.
Yeah,
or
please,
lose it
Scott.
situation. But in the era of streaming,
8
it's
more
better
minutes.
business sense to make fewer shows that push
Who are these
subscriptions for a
lesbians?
month and then cancel them before you have to pay the cast or crew anymore. This isn't even getting into the obvious issues of when
And
you're
this,
trying
again,
to
this
be
is
a
true. She's
monopoly
talking about
for
true
all
stuff,
of
but like,
television
Weird
instead of
Star
a
Wars
network with a
fight.
niche and specific audience. Nobody ever went to the History Channel to watch Duck Dynasty. All right, that's a bad example. This has been something rotting the entertainment industry for a long time, and it has
No,
far-reaching
wait, hold
consequences.
on. Then give a good example.
she makes a joke, but then
Your whole
doesn't
point
follow
is that
up.
that's a bad example.
She makes
Then
a
give a good one.
yeah, like she just half a joke. It wasn't the full joke.
Also, people did used to go to the History Channel for History Channel.
It
That's the point. Is
it
that it's
changed,
stopped being.
and then they changed
Yeah,
it. But
you could have made it.
could have made an
You could
ancient
have
aliens joke.
made it. Yeah, or the Dynasty for God's sakes. I mean, or make a joke about TLC, the Learning Channel, which is documentaries about
or
fat people and midgets.
or Animal Planet doing the whole we're not doing animal documentaries anymore. We're gonna tell you how to build a pool. Thank you,
Yeah, like
David Zaslav. Thank you,
Cartoon
David
Network when they.
Zaslav.
Speaking of that, Cartoon Network when they did a live action block.
Okay, I was gonna say that was before David Zaslav, but that's true. That was
Those are speaking of Warner Brother products.
Speaking of David Zaslav, fucking kill yourself in Minecraft. In Minecraft. Okay, we're gonna continue. I'm getting angry.
Blandification, is that a word? It is now, of TV in particular, isn't entirely down to the studios. The audience also has a hand to play in this. The biggest problem with this business model is that so many people complain about the blandness of TV, yet will still look you in the eyes and say, this is better. I get a lot of shit for talking about how much I love low-stakes storytelling, where the stakes are deeply personal, over high-stakes storytelling,
Fair
where,
enough,
like, the fate of
Hash
gonna
many,
ruin
many,
his
many
opinion?
people are at
That's not
stake.
what low
And when I
stakes
say
means,
that,
but
people acting
whatever.
in extremely bad faith try to make it sound like I'm saying everything should be like Nanoland. But remember that film I mentioned earlier about a man taking 10 people hostage in an emergency room? What are the stakes in that film?
Pretty high.
Hearing me, Frank? My son is sick. That's it. There's nothing else. End of story.
Another film I love is Riding in Cars with Boys, about a woman in the 1960s who gets pregnant at 15 and has to deal with being a teenage mother, having a deadbeat husband, and trying to balance all of that while still pursuing her dreams of being a writer. And the thing about that film is that it's about someone in a bad situation, and that bad situation affects her as a person, and it affects her son as well. If you think she perseveres in the face of adversity and becomes a good mother to her son, no, she doesn't.
I'm what went wrong in your life. I'm what you've struggled to survive. You have to know that you wrote a book about it.
Hungry Jack's
Okay, thank you, Hungry Jack.
This
Fucking no skip button. Fuck you, Hungry Jacks. Alright. Whatever.
In America, they're called Burger King.
Yeah, fun fact, guys. Burger King was taken.
Something you might learn in this video.
Burger King was like taken as a copyright when they first tried to come to Australia. I don't think it is anymore, but it's been Hungry Jack's too long for them to change it now.
Hey, we're adding value to something.
Yo.
Something Lily Orchard didn't know anything about.
I'm just incredibly screwed up.
What?
Again, what is this? Like, this might be a good movie, but what does this have to do with fucking Star Wars?
It's still going on!
Like, this.
You call it a job.
Like, there's nothing wrong with putting a full scene in your video. I did
She's
that
a
in one
difficult
of my
character
videos. That's
to
for the 7
like,
ending, but like.
but I do still like her.
You
This is the
you
last
Yes,
have to make
Lily,
sure
that's how
it's not-
protagonists work. You don't have to be likable people to like. Okay.
Yeah, no, many protagonists are not likable people.
But yet they're still like a likable character isn't a likable person. That's, and I feel
Not
like
necessarily.
there are times that like she's saying this now, like this is true, but there are other times where another thing will do exactly this and she'll hate it for it. She just doesn't have consistency in her opinion.
I mean, yeah, she's saying like, "Oh, the Jedi are bad because of their main focus," but she doesn't understand that they are not the good guys.
Well, yeah, but they're also not the bad guys. But
Well,
she's
yeah,
not gonna
they're
get that nuance. She's not gonna get
regular.
that. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna.
Made, stating that she was done with filmmaking because her movies were about heart, but the industry didn't want to make those kind of films anymore. This is what I mean when I say low-stakes storytelling. And I have seen people sneer at me for this. People who scream at me that I need to watch adult media. Yeah,
This
bitch,
isn't-
I fucking do.
No, you
Do
don't.
you?
Okay, these two movies. Can you name anything else? Like, yeah, she does need to watch more adult media. Just because she's watched like two doesn't negate what people say.
one Denzel Washington movie
and like a
that I've
movie.
never, and like another like random '80s movie.
I'm gonna assume that maybe she watched them in her childhood, and that's why they matter. But like, she's not gonna watch that kind of movie now.
Yeah, like it's good to balance out your media diet with shit that isn't just kid shows.
Yeah, and again, like some people take it the other way and say like you should just never watch kid. Like, there's nothing wrong with watch. Again, I watch kid
No
shows
point in
sometimes.
being
There's
grown up.
nothing wrong with that. It's
I
just
love
balance it.
this is a quote from Doctor Who that I love. There's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes. It's
True.
supposed to be silly in the moment, but it really does strike something
Yeah,
that like,
there's
oh
some.
yeah, you don't have to act like a fucking stuffy jackass all the time. Like not all the you don't need to be an adult
Yeah,
all the time.
and you
You can
don't.
be a
And
kid.
being an adult doesn't mean you have to drop all your hobbies. Like, there are some people that go like, "Oh, you're an adult, so stop having hobbies." Like, what the fuck, man?
So
Dude.
I it's not that I think they need to start getting
Yeah,
hobbies
exactly.
sometimes.
And another, like, I was watching the recent Dead Meat podcast on the Substance, and they mentioned that now they're in their 30s. People saying that, "Oh, you're so old, like you're so old now. It's kind of cringe that you have a YouTube channel." It's like, what the fuck?
Well, that's because they're on the internet and 30
Yeah,
means
that's
you're
true.
retirement age apparently.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you're too old to have a YouTube channel. Like, bro, it's their fucking job, man.
Yeah,
They're too
there's
old to enjoy horror movies, apparently. It's just
yeah.
crazy. Most of them are like adult movies anyway. It's
Most YouTubers at this point are probably a little older.
yeah, whatever. I think I remember seeing someone bring this up when one of those guys who how video games aren't fun anymore, and people just brought it's because you're not a kid and you have more things to worry about. You not being able to have fun in video games. This is because
Because you're a
you don't have time.
sour
Like you
apple.
don't have. This is also like you don't have time to put your energy into it. But instead of going, oh, it's just because my life is busy now, you want to blame video games for not being manly enough or whatever. So it's
I
just
mean, yeah,
like,
but also they're not fun because they're any different per se.
yeah,
They're not fun because they're getting caught up on
you've
things like
changed. Like
that one thumb said fucking pronouns.
angry thumb. Right.
Angry
Yeah.
thumb, what's his name? Heel versus
Dude,
babyface.
oh, did you see his reaction to a She-Hulk thing? It was fucking pathetic, dude.
I assume, yeah, I would
Dude,
assume.
I'll just quickly summarize. He was like talking about one of the episodes, like the wedding. I don't know if you watch She-Hulk, but it was a wedding episode, and he was like basically just getting really weird and creepy over the bride actress, the actress playing the bride. So just basically talking about her boobs the whole time, just getting really weird and creepy over it. And then he did a group
I
live
might not
stream. He did a group live stream with the Incel Squad, and one of them brought up how she was trans, and they were trying to get angry at that. And then he found out that he was attracted to a trans woman, and he just started crying.
I'm gonna stop for a second. What the fuck do you mean the incel squad?
The fucking
Yeah,
the collection of
I want to commit
the
Suicide Squad.
the chud tubers like geeks and gamers, Nerdrotic,
Okay.
that
I
crew.
think
And
that's the you should commit Suicide Squad.
yeah, they're basically just talking with them, and he just started like looked like he was on the verge of fucking breaking down and crying. It was one of the most embarrassing things
Imagining
I've
like
watched.
Walter
Like
White on the floor of his crawl space, just like
he just
screaming
he just
skyward.
found out that he spent like 5 minutes sexualizing a woman and he wasn't embarrassed over it, and then he finds out she's trans and he just started crying. It was like, okay, buddy, all right, all right, man. And they uploaded this online. Like
Yeah,
personally, like
like
I
you
wouldn't
put that
upload that online.
that's embarrassing.
Anyway, we're
I
gonna
mean,
continue.
even if you need to upload the podcast,
Mm,
just cut that out.
yeah.
Like you could there
Oh, but
editing
they
too.
couldn't cut that out because it was them making fun of a trans woman. You got to keep that in the video, man.
Well, then cut that part out. Cut out the part of his realization
No, because
of him.
the others were having a conversation while his little face cam is in the corner, like just breaking down.
Then turn up face cam heel versus
He
baby
just
face.
left it on.
You old idiot. You fucking thumb from Spy Kids.
All right, we're
Turn
gonna
off your camera and go cry somewhere else.
continue.
Ooh, that kind of
Please.
emotional, hard-hitting storytelling is hard to balance when the fate of the entire universe is at stake. And
Not
Star
necessarily.
Wars, oh yeah, remember how this video was about Star Wars?
Alexander
Has
Yeah,
always
just
been a
fuck yes, Lily. This video is about stop. Fuck off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to pause there.
I missed what you said.
She
Oh,
said, remember how this
okay.
video was about Star Wars?
No, I don't actually. Because when was it?
Okay, we're gonna continue.
story that refuses to do so. The films themselves are more concerned with the family dynamics of the
Like water
Skywalkers
That's
and the
torture.
not
people
a
caught
bad
in their
thing.
orbit. The point of drama for the original
That's
series
what
is about
her.
that's what she's saying she wants. Why is she complaining about that now? Okay.
Because she's a contrarian.
And a
She'll never be
hypocrite.
happy.
Okay.
relationship between Luke
Like
and
most
Vader,
Star
and Luke's
Wars
increasing
fans,
disillusionment
she'll
with
never
his
be happy.
teachers. The prequels largely center on the relationship between Obi-Wan,
Would it be
Anakin, and
because of
Padme.
a deep
In
love
both
of the
trilogies, the
franchise of
Galactic Civil
deflecting
War
any
and the
women?
Clone Wars are
Or because
Sorry.
of their personality deflecting any women?
Yeah. Okay. I could rant about Star Wars fans a lot. We're gonna avoid that
We
for
don't
now.
have to go that deep. It was just a snide joke.
Yeah, it's fine.
largely happening in the margins and are greatly affected by those familial dynamics. Star Wars has always
Yes.
had a political
Yes,
bent
Lily.
to it,
Yes,
but that
Lily.
political bent is largely secondary to the
Don't get
family
hooked. You're
soap
gonna
opera.
fuck it up.
Even looking at the
That's
Clone
not a
Wars,
bad thing,
patron
Lily.
saint of the annoying darkness-obsessed fanboy, the Clone Wars has many episodes that dig very deep into
Yes,
the rot
Lily.
and corruption of the Republic and the Jedi Order, but that is
Aye, you're gonna fuck it
considerably
up.
dwarfed by how
No!
much focus there is on the relationship between Anakin and
But
Ahsoka.
no, Lily. The political stuff wouldn't work if you didn't care about the characters.
Yeah,
You
primary
need
cares.
you need to care about the characters to give a shit about the political stuff. You can't just have
That's
the
why a
political
lot of
stuff with
people
no.
chafed with the fucking political stuff in the prequels because people
Yeah.
didn't care about the characters.
But now she's bringing up in the Clone Wars, like, oh yes, the political stuff here is good, and she's talking about how, like, yeah, so this is all this stuff about the Jedi corruption. And she's showing this clip. It's funny that she's showing this clip here. This clip here is about the Jedi's corruption, but it wouldn't work if you didn't give a shit about Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship.
Yeah,
But now
it's
she's
very
complaining
clearly
about
framed
how their
around
relation. Okay.
Ahsoka, not.
Sorry, I missed what you said.
I was saying it's very clearly framed around these characters and their despair about things, not the political ramifications of this current situation.
Yeah, but
That's
just
what
before
we
she was
need.
saying before she was saying she needs the personal conflict to have the stakes, so now she's complaining that the personal conflict is taking too much space in Star Wars. Like, which one is it, Lily?
Let's
Like,
think of it like House. Like
okay.
House is a medical drama technically, but what makes it work is that you're focused on the characters first. Like you focus on these characters and what they're like and what their things, what's going on with them, rather than the medical jargon,
but you still need
which
the medical stuff pushes the rest of the show. So
it's framing. That's what it is. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like in Star Wars, the political stuff between the
In
Jedi
this
and
case, well, in this case,
Senate
the Galactic
stuff.
Senate and the Jedi
This
and
thing,
the Separatists, but
yeah, just like all the parties.
yeah.
It is what makes it work is that it's window dressing. You don't use that as a plot driver. Like you have characters drive the plot.
Yeah. It's
It's okay if it's event driven too, but you can't just have it be political
if you
for
just yeah, sorry,
a story
if you
like
just
Star
had
Wars.
the political stuff, you'd just be reading a textbook. It basically just be a textbook instead. Like, you need the characters to
And
actually.
that's what people felt when they watched the prequels. Like when Phantom Menace came out, people were like, "This is just a fucking
It's just
text."
like they're discussing like trade disputes. It's like, I don't give a
Exactly.
shit about the fucking trade dispute.
I don't give a shit about your spice runs. Like that's the thing. Like, oh, the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. What makes that work is that they don't go over what parsecs are or how
I mean,
like
it's
the
at first
Kessel
it's
Run
kind of like they got
is.
it. I think they have sufficiently, because like parsecs are like a real thing, but when they first said it in New Hope, they made it sound like a distance did, when it's a time. But they did explain
That's the thing. It could be either.
it.
In,
Yeah,
in
but
the
no,
in the
but
New
like
Hope, you can read
no,
it
but
as either.
it is like a real word though. I think in real life it is a time. It's like a
Well,
time measurement. But in the movie they made it sound like a distance measurement. But then
yeah,
in Soul,
they make it sound like a time measurement.
I'm
You
trying
did the
to.
run in 12 parsecs.
Which one is it in real
That
life
sounds
then? I think is in real life is it a distance measurement?
doesn't matter. We're getting distracted.
Okay, you know, because in Solo they did a good workaround where like the run usually you can only take this one path because like there's a storm around Kessel and if you go in there you fucking die. But Han managed to go in there and not die, which means he did it in like a shorter time and shorter distance.
Were you getting
Sorry.
distracted?
Yeah. Okay.
To the point that the
We've
series'
gotten
most
off the
dramatic
path.
and hard-hitting
Yeah,
moment
just the
was
idea that
Ahsoka
this is
leaving the
like
Jedi
window
Order and
dressing.
leaving
You're
Anakin
supposed to care
behind.
about the fucking
The
people in the
hard-hitting
story,
moment
not their
was
fucking
Ahsoka leaving the
wallets.
Jedi
I just want to listen to her talk about this part here. So let me just.
To the point that the series' most dramatic and hard-hitting moment was Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order and leaving Anakin behind. And it's also worth pointing out that for as much as she's beloved now, Ahsoka was vehemently hated for quite a while
That's
because she
true.
was a girl with a mouth on her.
That's
And
true.
Ahsoka
That's
only
true.
became so adored once The Force Unleashed came out and all of those guys
No.
got distracted and left the children alone to
I
enjoy.
I don't think the Force Unleashed has anything to do with Ahsoka becoming well liked, but go off. I think
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
it has to do with not only does she obviously improve, like the writing improves over time, but also people grew up with her character. They grew up with her. She grew up as the audience grew up. That's part of like you start watching as a kid, and as she becomes a teenager, you're also becoming a teenager. Played a big part in it,
She's an
as well as just
audience
like
friendly character.
the writing improved over time as well. But I don't think
Yeah.
the Force
But
Unleashed had nothing to do with that. Like I like Ahsoka now. I could go back and watch her season 1 appearances, and it'll still be like she's a lot more annoying here than she is in like season 7. But
she's supposed to be an audience surrogate character, a
yeah,
character that is the audience relates to.
yeah, it's okay. We're gonna continue.
Their fun cartoon. And speaking of that cartoon, though there wasn't a precedent set for Star Wars on TV before Disney bought it out, The Clone Wars was also a 7-season-long episodic
Okay,
series.
well it was actually 5.5 seasons before Disney came along. But all right, go off, Lily.
Technically, we're so close to the end.
It was
Please.
sorry, it was 5 seasons and an incomplete season that they released after Cartoon Network canceled the show. It wasn't 7 seasons before Disney came along, but we're gonna.
Please, we're so close.
With the exception of the final season, it
I need
straight
you to
up
not get on
was
that,
not
actually.
a serialized show. Every episode was its own
What?
It wasn't okay. She's trying to say it wasn't episodic. It wasn't necessarily serialized either because it did jump around, but they were in arcs. The arcs were serialized. So she's being a bit disingenuous. Like she's not completely wrong, but she's being disingenuous here. Like
Yeah, no, it's just like it jumps around, but that doesn't mean it's not in an order.
And it's like, this is just because Lily always blabs on about how much she hates serialized cartoons. She's just trying to say, because she likes the Clone Wars, she's trying to justify why she likes the Clone Wars, even though it's serialized. That's what she's doing here.
Hey, here, Lily Orchard. How about this? Why do you hate serialized cartoons so much?
I mean, her
It
video on
seems
it, she
weird.
doesn't really explain it, but she does make a point of saying, "Oh,
Oh
everyone
shit, which
tells me
movie?
it could be done right. It's good if it's done right," and she gets angry at that sentiment, even though that sentiment is true about anything.
Plenty of
Anything can be
very
good if it's done right.
yeah.
But we're not gonna. If you want to watch, I think Ant did a stream with like some other people on it where they went into that, and they did a counter of how many times Lily contradicts herself, and then says it's good if it's done right after complaining about people saying that.
I think I'm gonna kill myself after this.
Okay, please don't.
self-contained story.
I won't.
Pause for effect. Only one
I will,
Star
however,
Wars
have
show
to kill
post
someone
Disney
else.
is that kind of episodic story,
I
and
have to
it's
get this
the
fucking
one
fury
every
out of my system.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Satire, by the way.
I missed what you said. Maybe that's for the best. But
Yeah, well,
she's about to call
my
the Mandalorian episodic. Only season 1 was actually season 2. Season 1 and season 3 was a lot less. I don't know. The Mandalorian's a weird show to talk about because how much it's changed in like this very short span of time. But we're gonna listen to her blab.
one
having Jack
likes.
Black and
All of the
Lizzo on your
shows
show
people
really
take
fucks
issue
you
with,
up.
and I'm talking critically, not the right-wing grifters, don't have that advantage. They're all film-length stories ballooned up to 6 hours, and with all the pacing issues therein. I do love a few of these shows, but I don't love them completely uncritically, and the first thing I would point out as a problem is the pacing issues inherent to
That's true for
serialized
everyone.
TV. But this is another thing.
No, it's not inherent to serialized TV, Lily. It's inherent to shows that are structured like long movies. You wanna blab about this? Or
Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. That's it.
yeah,
Shows are
she's just saying that
excellently paced.
all serialized shows are like the Obi-Wan show is like that because it was written as a movie, and then they took the movie script and stretched it out into 6 episodes. That's
And
why it's
also,
like that,
Steven Universe has pacing issues,
and that's
but that's
because
because
the network.
yeah, the network kept screwing them over.
and they released what? They released them in Steven bombs. Fucking Steven bombs. Jesus.
Even Bond.
And
Yeah.
another thing Lily
Which
mentions in a Steven universe,
all
he's like, oh, why don't
American
they get feedback when a Steven bombs are released? Like, oh, why doesn't the show like take this feedback? It's like because the next few episodes have already been written and animated. You don't know how
Yeah.
TV production works. Like they can't just get
I
feedback
like the
instantly
fact
when the
that she
next
took
season's
so
already
much.
been written.
It still amazes me that she took like a significant amount of time at the beginning of her Steven Universe video to address the whole thing of its scheduling and all that when the show had already wrapped up everything. The show had ended and Future had ended.
Mm.
There was nothing left. You're complaining about a show's like scheduling issues for a show that has already finished. What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. And it's not like she's using it to complain about it in context because she doesn't understand the context.
No,
It's
she doesn't.
whatever. I'm gonna. She's just blatantly wrong about why the Obi-Wan show or why like the let's just bring in the
She's got a
MCU
lot of
shows.
problems.
The MCU Disney Plus shows. They're not the pacing isn't bad because they're serialized. It's because they're written like long movies. That's why they're bad. But whatever.
That the industry has doubled down on, and the audience straight up refuses to acknowledge it as a problem, despite
That's not
constantly
true.
complaining about the end result of that. When you make stories trying to be these long serialized plots about the very identity of the Force itself on a metaphysical level, you sacrifice a lot of things that makes TV worth watching in the first place. You lose characters, you lose moments for the story to breathe, you lose the fun episodes that don't advance the plot but let you flesh.
I was gonna say Sabine's on screen right now. She hasn't mentioned Rebels once. Do you think she likes or hates Rebels?
I doubt she's seen it.
Okay.
Out the characters. You lose the
I
ability
don't
to
think she's
reset the
probably thinks
tension
that's the
in
character
between big
from
plot set
the
pieces.
Ahsoka
All
show,
of these things are
whatever
extremely
that was
important
from.
for a series, and
Yeah.
all of them will be branded as filler by
I
absolute
mean, it's
fucking
not like she doesn't
morons.
research on anything else.
Yeah. Like, she just watches like
I mean,
Ahsoka.
if she saw the three clone troopers in Rebels, I don't remember their names, but if she saw them show up, she'd be like, "Why
Gregor,
are they?
Wolf, and
Oh,
Rex.
who are these new characters?" Yeah,
But
she
yeah,
probably wouldn't
she would
realize
no.
that
She
these
would
are.
know. She would know Rex. Maybe Wolf because his arm is distinct. She would not fucking remember who Gregor is.
Yeah,
She would not remember who Gregor is.
Means that it
but
increasingly
she'd be like,
penny
"Well, why are
pinching
these
industry has
these
made
clones out here?" She wouldn't understand. She wouldn't bother to check.
Yeah. Yeah.
seasons shorter and shorter and gotten
This is
away with it by saying we're just removing the unnecessary
this is
filler. And
again.
the end
This is
result
true,
is
but she's
flat
complaining about it
characters
in the
with
wrong
little
way.
time spent on them, feeling more like a celebrity guest on a sitcom than
Again, I feel like here she's just regurgitating other people's opinions because there's like little sprinkles of like true and factually correct things in here, but I don't think she understands why they're correct. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like she's saying something that is just objectively correct, but not really in the correct way. She just kind of regurgitating other people's opinions. Oh god, fuck! Just cramped my leg. Shit, sorry.
it's the psychic damage becoming real.
It's like it just. Oh god. Okay, yeah, no. Do you have anything to say here? I just wanted to drop that in.
Uh, no, continue.
All right.
an actual person because all the episodes that would flesh them out as a person have been culled. But don't you dare tell someone that. The idea
People
that
tell each other that all the
everything
time.
on a
This is
serialized
modern
plot has
Twitter
downsides
TV discourse.
and isn't an objective improvement in all forms is apparently
She's acting like this is her unique opinion, but like everyone says this. This isn't a unique opinion. This is a widely talked about issue. She's acting like it's some controversial hot take. This is the standard cold take on this scenario. Like, this isn't a special opinion. This is the average thought.
Yeah, there's nothing.
thinkable. The audience has
So
consistently
tired.
applauded the increasing homogenization of television, and
No,
even
people have
films
not
on
applauded
dogmatic
that.
ideas about storytelling that
Yeah,
simply don't hold up to
Disney
scrutiny.
Star Wars
Episodic has
greatly
straight up become a
applauded.
dirty
What the
word
fuck
to
are
mean
you
a story
talking
has
about?
no depth and resets to the status quo every episode, in spite of the fact that literally all of the greatest TV series ever made were in fact episodic and most of them were multi-camera sitcoms.
Breaking
The
Bad
other
wasn't
thing that
episodic
the
or
discourse
multi-camera
absolutely loathes with a passion. Oh wow, All in the Family, that's a really interesting and profound look at the concept of a drag queen at a time where Rocky Horror was a cult classic about drag queens being perverts, but
Oh, yeah, by the way, I haven't watched Rocky Horror. I'm not, I'm not in the community or whatever. But she really fucking hates Rocky Horror. In case you didn't know that, like
A
she,
trans person that hates Rocky Horror.
oh yeah, she thinks like obviously it's outdated, but she thinks it's like deeply offensive, which like it might be, but she like fucking despises it. Like
It's not.
it's not okay, but she's ranted about it. If you want to again join
It's
Crimson
not
and
even
this
that out.
Discord
It's
server, she
aside from like a couple phrasings, it's not that outdated.
oh she fucking despises it, like
Well, she's
hates it.
also a moron.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna continue.
ooh, I heard a laugh track, so you clearly have no depth. None of these ideas have
True. Oh, okay, thank you. Freedom.
I can breathe.
Oh,
Also,
oh
yeah,
no!
Don't
Oh
miss
shit!
out
It's
on
enough
she's saying
fucking
that Rocky
dominant.
Horror
50%
reference.
off pizzas this week.
There we go.
Oh shit!
None of these
They've come
ideas have
back.
ever held up to scrutiny, and yet they
I was gonna
persist
say, yeah,
because,
she keeps showing
well, a
pictures.
lot of
She's
people
like all
like
the family clips, but Rocky Horror is updated.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
At least
that's.
she's playing Star Wars
I
clips
mean,
now.
granted, well, she keeps,
Great.
yeah, but you like Archie Bunker is like a deeply offensive character.
I
I mean,
haven't.
granted, the point is that he's kind of an asshole, but like
I think she's brought it. I haven't
not kind
watched
of
the
an
show,
asshole.
but I
Yeah.
think she's brought it up in a thing where he's like, oh yeah, he's not meant to be. I can't remember the context she brought it up. He's like, yeah, he's not meant to be a good person, but he's getting laughed at. Is this the one I'm thinking of?
I mean, the idea is that he's like an old time bigot,
Okay.
and that's the point. And that's like the whole thing is that he chased with it and learns from it. Is the idea.
Okay. Oh well, at
But
least he
I'm
learned from it.
surprised she even got that at all. Frankly,
Yeah.
with her IQ level
Again,
and
let's
nuanced
see her watch Always
understanding of.
Sunny. Let's see her watch Always Sunny.
Yeah, no,
Um,
no, it's a show for adults. She can't handle that.
Game of Thrones, so let's make every show like that, which is the same fallacy that saw
What the
multiple
fuck?
people try to make their own answer to the MCU, or
Oh,
saw
okay,
multiple
right.
people try to get in on World of Warcraft's at the
Are
time
we?
massive MMO success and fail
Oh, she's a big
horribly.
World of
And now
Warcraft fan too, as
streaming
well, I
was
think.
supposedly leading to a massive glut
Of
of
course, what
cable
other
cutting
slop?
because it was the future. And the end result was TV getting worse, your favorite shows moving to exclusive services that all wanted their own personal cut of that, and
That
any show
happened
that does
well
look
before
interesting.
Star Wars did any of this.
Yeah, Star Wars was actually relatively late to the streaming thing.
Frankly,
Like
yeah.
the only streaming thing had was
Even then, Disney has been relatively late to
yeah.
streaming. Disney Plus was like what 2020, and that's
No, it's
I mean, granted,
2019.
that's
It was late 20.
okay.
Like it was
So
like
five.
it was November 2019.
Okay, that's less than a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's around half a decade. Most of the other streaming services have been in well
Netflix what?
before.
Netflix has been around since like 2013, right?
No, earlier than that even.
They came to Australia later than they're in the US. Like Australia got them way after the
Yeah,
US did.
I mean
So
that's the thing. Like Netflix has made the offer to Blockbuster in like the early 2000s.
yeah,
Now that was not when they were doing streaming, to be fair, but it
that was
wasn't
when they
long
were.
after that they were.
And again, like
But
some of the
granted,
older
their
services like
mail-in service,
Hulu still doesn't exist in Australia. So it's
and granted, people treat it like Blockbuster was like, oh, it was just, they didn't know it was going to be streamed. But at the same time, the mail service from Blockbuster or from Netflix was still pretty profitable.
yeah.
They should have
They only just
should
shut
have at
that down
least
a few
gone
years
for it.
ago. I think like the
Yeah,
Netflix mail
sadly,
service only. And
I wish
again,
they hadn't
apparently
because it's a really useful tool.
that's how Netflix that was never a thing in Australia either. So I didn't really know about that until a few years ago. But
It was a really weird, like niche tool because a lot of stuff you couldn't get on streaming, you could have just gotten on DVD. And I wish I was using it, frankly,
I wish
like
like
when it
again
was
a lot of
there.
them closed down in Australia probably before, some after than the US. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just different shit here.
Are you talking
But
about Blockbuster?
yeah, the Blockbuster I think closed down here before it did. There used to be one near my grandma's house, but we had like a few other stores like Video Easy. But after they closed down, they still had like machines in like supermarkets and shopping centers where you could go in, like
I
pay
never
money
got
in the
those
machine.
here.
It would give you the DVD, you watch it, and you bring it back like the next day.
We
That was
we have red boxes and stuff, which is like
okay.
that, but that's not. But there were never any that were like Blockbuster
Okay.
branded.
I don't think they were Blockbuster ones. They either had like store exclusive ones or Video Easy. But then they disappeared recently. I remember seeing them like they were at least there in like I remember seeing one that had like Halloween 2018 in it, so they
Oh.
survived a decent amount, but sadly they're just gone, which sucks because I
They
like
still have
them.
some red boxes here and there.
Damn. Maybe
I've
some places
seen
like
there's
more
one.
regional, maybe more because I remember the last time I saw one was probably in 2020, 2021. I was in a different state. I remember this because this was the day before we had to get across the state border
Lockdown.
before they went into a state COVID lockdown. But
Yeah.
we were on holiday. We drove up somewhere in New South Wales, and a shopping center near our like place where we were staying had one of those like DVD things. My sister wanted to rent one, but we said no, we can't because we might need to speed off tomorrow, and we don't want to take the DVD with us. Obviously, that's illegal. But yeah, that was true because
That's
they went
illegal.
the state went into lockdown, and we had to wake up at like 11 p.m. at night, pack our stuff, and drive,
Yeah.
so we weren't like locked in a different state for like a month.
I think they'd be fine if one DVD was missing. To be
Yeah,
fair.
probably, but we also just didn't want to go through that hassle.
Yeah. And what are they gonna do? Come to your house?
No, they'll probably send us a fine. It was
Fucking then just
easily
pay it.
avoidable. We could like if we wanted to watch it at home, we just rented it on like because I still use like
I don't know. Would
rentals,
they have even?
online
I
rentals,
mean,
but
would they have even sent you a fine because you can't
I
leave the
don't know.
house? You
No,
can't
because
go
no,
retain
because
it.
we would have been
Would
in a
they have,
different state. We're not going back there. We're getting back to
then
Victoria.
how would they have found your address? Okay,
Yeah,
we're
but they
getting
probably had bank.
distracted by a
Yeah, we're getting
hypothetical
distracted by
DVD,
a
a
hypothetical. But
hypothetical DVD rental that doesn't exist and happened like years ago.
yeah, okay, we're gonna continue.
Dying after the first
What the
season because
fuck?
the studio has your sub fee and there's more
That's the
hype in
acolyte.
announcing a new series than renewing an old one. And I was pointing all this out
Don't
10
worry
years
about it.
ago when people were championing streaming as the piracy killer and the broadcast network killer, and I was
Fucking
routinely
piracy,
sneered at over it.
piracy killer? How is
When did
stream?
that happen?
No one ever said that. Streaming makes
People just
piracy easier.
enjoyed
What are you?
streaming.
What is? It makes
People liked
piracy.
streaming because it felt like people had caught on to the idea that like yeah, people want to be able to easily watch these shows
And at the
because at the
time,
time
it was easier than cable. It was cheaper than cable and easier than
it was
cable.
easier
It's
than
not
cable, it
necessarily
was
cheaper
cheaper,
anymore, but it's still easier.
it was easier, cheaper. You could watch what you wanted, and because it was basically just Netflix and Hulu, you could watch basically whatever you wanted at any given point because they were the only ones available. So every show was on Netflix or Hulu.
And honestly,
You didn't have other streamings.
even with the different ones, I've noticed like
They're
at least in
coming back
Australia,
around.
some Disney owned stuff that is on Disney Plus, they still put it on Netflix and Amazon Prime as well.
I mean, yeah, like Disney Plus, which also has Hulu,
Yeah,
and
yeah, in
it's
Australia,
on
all the
for
Hulu
them.
content. But I mean, like some of the like I noticed like Fight Club and
Well, I was gonna say, even some of the shows that were from Cartoon Network on Hulu are
yeah,
available in some
I
form.
think that's just because WB fucking sucks. That's mostly that thing.
Well, that's not
Like
right, but I'm
WB
saying
sucks
it
so bad that
also
Steven Universe is on Disney Plus in the US. Like how the fuck did that
right, but I'm
happen?
saying, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's coming back around to the idea that like, oh, it's one or two streaming services.
Yeah.
Like, funnily enough, Netflix actually pulled a fair bit of a 180. So far, they're doing better now, or at
Are
least as
they?
far as like, I don't know. Maybe they. I mean, at
Oh,
least it
just
seems
wait.
like
I'm
they're
getting. I think my mum's calling me. I'll be right back. You can just yap. I just
okay.
need to mute myself. I'll be right back. Yap at the thing. I might edit this out, but my mum's calling me.
Okay, well, I'd recommend editing it out because I can't pause it. Do what you don't want, do what you don't want, do what you don't want, man. Important advertisement. You have penis shrinkage. Your penis is very small. You need penis growth. Try penis growth now with the help of Dr. Mantis Toboggan. Now cut here. Future Ty, cut the video here. And then cut back in when you sit back down. What are you doing, Nimbus? Thinky. I can see you. My cat's an idiot. Toilet dog. Why is he in the toilet? Italian man, it's so slippery. My tailbone hurts. I wonder how much of this is going to be left in. I hope none of it. Actually, some of it. Actually, all of it is gold. Dr. Electric Hat Penis. MD, Esquire. Man, SpongeBob doesn't have a dick, does he? He's a sponge. They don't reproduce. And sexually, they're reproducing sexually. SpongeBob does not have a penis. Don't watch it, don't watch, don't watch it, don't watch. Oh, smash Birdsey. Oh! We're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue. And then we'll take it higher. Looks like shit from what? What the fuck do you want? Perish. Can I go? I am a goddamn genius. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah. Except you stay.
Hello, you still there?
I am still here. I
Awesome.
said some funny things. So you can leave them, some of them in,
Okay, I'll
but I
check
won't
that.
tell you which one.
I'll check that when I
I
edit the
wouldn't
video.
recommend it.
All right.
All
Well,
right,
we're gonna continue the video.
I guess so. Also, please
Well,
kill me.
now
Oh.
we're deep in the streaming ghetto and everyone's
Ugh.
realizing, hey, this
Oh,
tech bro
fuck.
libertarian bullshit
Oh,
project
but yeah,
might just be
she
a
hates the Our House final season stuff. I think because it gets more
Let me
serialized.
guess. Even though it was very serialized up until that point,
Yeah,
anyway.
I haven't seen the Our House yet, so I can't comment on that. But
The entire show is pretty serialized.
That's great. That's
The
awesome.
first season is the least serialized, but it still has plenty of serialization.
Okay.
tech bro libertarian bullshit
The
project.
idea
Multiple
that it's
sectors of the
the third
entertainment
season is
industry
the
have
idea that, like,
increasingly pursued attempts.
yeah, just fucking idiot. F minus brain cells.
Yeah. She just said tech bro libertarian. I don't know why she said that.
Because a white person appeared.
To make bigger projects with broad mass appeal, which has led to many genres of films, TV shows, video games, and even
White
entire
person
books
detected.
straight
Must
up
be
vanishing
libertarian.
as industry homogenization continues to whittle away.
I don't think Lily can comment on anyone's like politics. She doesn't have any political standing like whatsoever.
I don't think she should comment on people's politics because she's an idiot.
Yeah, no, but like I this is like a 4 hour long stream, so like I watched it over 2 days while playing Fortnite. But it was it
You
was
had to
from
dose it.
it was from the Crimson Enders channel. Basically, he was talking about how Lily Orchard is a fake leftist, and honestly, for the first like
No
hour,
shit.
it was like the content wasn't even about Lily. It was just really interesting political discussion. So I recommend the video. But because he was
I
like
mean, yeah,
calling
Lily Orchard is absolutely a fucking poser.
like the way she talks about addicts. She went on a rant about how all addicts are like trash and human garbage on Tumblr the other day. But
Okay, to be fair, that's not just fake leftist. That's like tanky shit.
yeah, but she's not even. She's not even tanky. Like she doesn't have any political standing.
Oh, she's just a
It's
moron.
whatever. It's whatever
Leave.
suits her. It's like her political standing is whatever's good for her in the moment. Is like her
That's it.
primary standing.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like at the end of the day, she just feels like a fucking leech. Like
Yeah, because
whatever
she gets.
works.
I think she lives in like subsidized housing, but then like shames other people that might. So I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the
It's
day,
like
she's striking it as like a deeply ungenuine person.
yeah.
And
It's
that's
also
the thing. Like
funny.
you were talking
Like
about.
the way she talks about American politics, you'd think she at least lives in the U.S., but she doesn't.
Ian Miles Chong, but a woman.
Ian Miles Chong, but a woman in Canada. Um, no, we're gonna continue.
At art until there's nothing left. And yeah, for that kind of destructive environment, Star Wars is doing just fine. If you're unsatisfied with the franchise, you're actually unsatisfied with the entire industry. And there isn't
True,
going to
I
be any
am.
fixing it until we all
Yeah,
realize
I
that the
am
reason everything
unsatisfied
is
with the
so
entire
bland and
industry.
We all
But
do. She's
what?
saying we until we all realize. We all do realize. It doesn't mean anything can be done about it.
Yeah, and also, what the fuck are you talking about?
Your issue isn't with Star Wars. It's with the whole industry. Yes, I fucking know.
No
I know
shit.
that. No shit.
Also, my issues with Star Wars can still be separate from the industry. Like if like some of the problems obviously have to do with the industry, but some just have to do with like the way the Star Wars movies are. Like my problems
Yeah.
with some of the prequel stuff doesn't just come from industry
Oh,
stuff.
the
It
prequel
comes
issues
from
aren't industry stuff. That's just George Lucas doesn't know how to write
well, yeah,
dialogue.
but like there is also some industry stuff.
Yeah.
Like certain scenes exist just to make toys. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, yeah, fair. Yeah.
Yeah, shit like that.
And something else
You
I've
know,
just noticed is how Lily just hasn't brought up Andor since that beginning sequence.
we've only got less than a minute left.
Maybe I'm gonna say it's maybe because Andor does go against a lot of what she's saying, but
We
also
have to
I
please.
don't think her brain could handle Andor.
How is she gonna wrap this up? She's like
Oh, she
halfway
doesn't
through.
know. She doesn't know how to wrap videos up. Like we already know.
All right, well then let's get out of here. Go,
No,
go,
no,
go.
no. But like I'm gonna say two things. I don't think she's watched Andor. One, because the beginning thing, one of the voices says, "Have you watched Andor? Why? When are you gonna watch Andor?" Which is true. Lily, please, I want to hear your opinion on it. I want to get angry. I hate myself, Lily. But also, she said she
I
didn't
want to
watch.
do the heroin.
She she didn't watch Rogue One because it was about the rebels. So that's basically like, yeah, no, she did not watch Andor because that is solely about the rebellion and like fighting fascism. So there are no Jedi. Gosh, would have you seen Andor?
No, I've not, but I
Okay.
can imagine she would not give
I
an
was gonna ask, do you
review.
think she would try and like defend the character Dedra? Basically, they introduce her as a new ISB officer. She's a high-ranking officer, but she's getting kind of mistreated because she's a woman, right? So you're framed to like, oh, yeah, this from her POV. We're meant to support her because she's a woman being mistreated in the workplace. And then the show reminds you she's not a woman. She's a fascist, and she's still a terrible person. So the show just quickly reminds you that, oh wait, no, we should not be supporting her because she is torturing one of the main characters with the sounds of screaming victims. So
Right.
yeah,
Let's
we're
get
gonna.
to so forth.
just
Hopefully,
fine
is it so
is
close?
because
Less
of
than a
the
minute.
many, many, many things we were all pretending were nothing but net positives overall.
No!
Star Wars is an effigy of the industry. It's fine, but
Who's
when it was
pretending?
good specifically because it was always doing different things.
Not
Maybe you didn't
necessarily.
like the multiple entries giving nuance to the dark side
No,
of the Force, but there was
But it
something
wasn't
for
always
you
Lily,
doing
to
Lily, we
different
get it.
things.
We get that you like the
That's
Sith
what
too much, but
you're also, yeah, you're complaining that it wasn't always doing different things, but then also you want sitcoms to be like the old days. What do you want?
she wants what
What do
she
you want? Do you
likes.
want things to be the same or different?
She, I don't know. It's who? I
Also,
don't know.
one of my main criticisms of Star Wars, at least as of recent, is that it is not like the whole point is that it even beforehand, a lot of it was that it was out of ideas. There's a lot of repetition. That's a main problem.
Yeah, it's
Is that shit would get recycled, you
ever
know.
since the Return of the Jedi. Like, oh, this is Death Star too.
Yeah, so this is the third movie. And this problem Star Wars has faced more and more and more and more and
Well,
more and more and more.
also, she's defending the Old Republic games now. I'm pretty sure one of those
Like, when
games had a planet-destroying weapon in it. That was before
yeah,
Starkiller Base came along. And is she gonna mention that? Because she's saying talking about how like
Star Wars
revolutionary.
relying on excess in the past has been a massive problem. Even as far back as the prequels, what if instead of one lightsaber, it was two at the same time? Well, that's a bit much. I mean, I guess it's like a bow staff, but then what if all the Jedi had lightsabers, even though in the original trilogy, it seemed like someone like Yoda wouldn't use a lightsaber because it's like different.
Or something else
Instead
with
of using
Yoda
those
is
different weapons, it's all lightsabers.
in the original trilogy, it implies that Yoda is only speaking funny to fuck with Luke. But
Well, no,
then,
that's initially he's acting
yeah,
funny because he's acting
he
like a
just wants to
nuisance.
fuck with Luke. That's basically it. But now that the
Although it
prequels
doesn't
have
seem
come
like he
along,
speaks. Well, yeah, instead of him speaking funny, he does have some things
yeah, he
that he
does have
speaks
some.
funny to
Yeah,
Luke.
but a lot of it is just him like exaggerating
But
to
then
fuck with Luke.
it got totally exaggerated in the prequels.
But even then, like in you still can say in the prequels, he's just doing it because he feels like it. Because like it's not even a
I
species thing.
guess,
Because
but
when
it's like,
when Yaddle speaks, she just speaks normally. So it is just
that's
Yoda
the thing,
being a
but like
weird little freak.
that's the thing. But he does it like 10 times more.
Yeah,
Like if he did it every couple, like every like speech, he did it like once or twice. Then he
yeah.
does it every other
Like
sentence here.
maybe it would be better if he did it to like hammer home a point. Like if he's giving like a speech to someone and he just
This
throws
was
in something
the
that's spoke.
original.
Yeah, because then it's like it emphasizes what he's saying. Because then you go, huh, that's a weird thing to say. So then you think about the sentence more instead of just literally every conversation with him. But whatever, we're getting off track. Yeah. All right.
there away from me, and that's the case everywhere. There was never going to be a single rule set for making good art, in spite of the fact that people often pretend that is the case.
Lily,
Because good
Lily does this exact thing that she's
Okay.
complaining about people doing. I'm not going to get into that, but she does this exact fucking thing. All right.
art is
So
diverse.
close.
There is no such thing as peak fiction.
What the?
That's subjective.
What does that have to do with Star Wars? What does
That was
that
it.
have to do with Star Wars?
That was the ending.
You me? What?
Oh, her and her stupid fucking keyblades too.
She put
Put this woman
Keyblades
in
in Star
the
Wars.
device.
She put Keyblades in Star Wars. No.
Put this woman in the unit.
Why
So tired
why are there Keyblades in Star Wars?
because everything needs to be like Kingdom Hearts. Donald
Oh.
Duck and Goofy running around. Fuck.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Can I just
it's
go? I just want to go
over.
back. I just want to hear this last.
And pretend that is the case,
Okay.
because good art is diverse. There is
True.
no such thing as peak fiction.
What the fuck does
What
that
does that
have to do
even
with
mean?
anything?
But what does that even
Hey,
mean?
hey, peak fiction is subjective from
Yeah.
person to person.
But Lily
The idea
doesn't
of
like
peak fiction,
subjectivity, so
right? Because she's a moron.
um
I mean, I feel like I'm going in on the insults, but then I have to remember
yeah, it's Lily. Like it's
Lily.
fine. I normally I'd be
Like
like
it's
you
not
can
like
be
it's not
stupid, but I'm not
like
going to insult you. I'll just say, hey, this is a pretty stupid thing to say. But given this is Lily Orchard, it's fine.
it's that she's a deeply stupid and terrible person.
Yeah, like
Like,
obviously, to the 5 people that may watch this video, don't go harass her or anything. But she is a piece of shit, so like it's fine.
Like if it was someone who was not a shitty person, I'd probably tone
Yeah.
it back. But
Yeah, like
also,
they're not a shitty person in real life. Just say some like stupid things. They go, yeah, this is really stupid, but I'm not gonna like insult them if they haven't done anything wrong in real life. Like,
yeah,
because in the end, this is just like movie opinions. In the end, it doesn't really
if
matter.
they try to correct themselves in the future, then I have nothing to be mad about. I just,
Yeah, but Lily
God,
is like averse to change. She cannot change. Someone played a
it's weird.
video from her from like 10 years ago, and she's acts the exact same way. Like no growth in 10 fucking years.
It's over.
It's over.
I'm free.
Honestly, that wasn't one of her worst. She's made worse videos, but again, it wasn't.
I know, but
This video is about Star Wars.
I think we'll need like a squadron of people to take on the Steven Universe video.
I'm not watching that video. I've seen enough
Well,
people react to it. I'm not
I'm
watching it
saying,
myself.
I'm saying if. I'm not making any fucking promises.
But let's see what other videos has she released recently. Let me just.
Please God, no.
This is her most recent video.
7 years ago,
No,
I put
no,
my
no,
channel on
no,
the map
no,
with an
no,
analysis of Legend of Korra.
no. Okay.
Your internet is cursing you.
Yeah. I think I have a lot. I have a lot. This is a shitty laptop I'm using right now, and I'm on Australian Wi-Fi. Oh, here we go.
It
Here's
may
this
be
video.
infected.
It's this video.
Okay,
It's
no,
about Canada.
we
It's just about Canadian
have to
animation.
escape.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, no wonder it's forgotten. People wanted to forget it. It's Canadian cartoons from the fucking 2000s. The worst things.
Like, not all. Like, I will defend some of them just because I grew up with them. But Total Drama
Okay,
is
the
Total
new
Drama
ones.
is a Canadian cartoon from the 2000s. All right.
Yeah, and also 16 in that thumbnail there. That was an alright show.
Yeah, I
But
I didn't watch
most
16, but I did watch fuck, what was it called? The one set at the beach resort had the same animation style.
Johnny
Hmm?
Test.
What'd you say?
So Johnny Test.
No, had the same art style as
Speaking of
16.
terrible
They're
Canadians,
like people that are employees at a
I
beach
don't know.
resort. They're surfers.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I watched that as a kid, but
I'm sorry, but yeah, no. As far as they weren't all terrible, but
oh,
like
dude, this fuck ass
most
video,
were on.
the wholesome versus dark media debate.
We have to escape.
Yeah,
We
we
can't
go. I'm
get
not
caught.
watching anymore.
All
So
right.
yeah, that's the end of the video. How do you feel?
Uh, decrepit in
Great,
one word,
awesome.
and more than one word. I think you'd have to censor it.
Okay, don't say that then.
So we're gonna move on. Yeah, no, we're gonna move on from that.
Um, can I
If you
get
want
like
to
a?
send, go
What
ahead.
what'd you say? Oh, sorry, you go on.
Let's nothing. I was gonna make a joke.
Okay. No, so what was the stuff that I need to edit that you said while I was gone?
There was just there was mostly silence
Okay, cool.
when you left. There's a
I'll probably
few
just
like
speed over that.
things I said to fill the void. So just yeah.
All right, I'll just have to edit through that then. I'm probably not gonna be edit heavy on this video.
Yeah.
Like I'm just probably gonna upload it. So hopefully it recorded fine. If it didn't
You
record fine, I might actually fucking kill myself. If the recording didn't work, it might just be over.
If you can please put a big flashing satire sign whenever I say something possibly illegal, that'd be funny.
I might do that, but I'm also don't like editing, so
Just put like confetti up.
okay, I'll see what I can do.
You see the confetti, you know it's fake.
I'll consider that. Is there
That's
anything you
good.
wanted to say before we leave? Like any you want to promote anything? Anything you want to say?
Not currently. If I if I do one of these again, I'm gonna need a punching bag. Just
Like a physical punching bag next to you?
something,
Okay.
something to break.
Well,
Specifically a Lily Orchard video, not necessarily a recording with you.
okay.
All right, later.
All right, see ya.
This-
This has been I don't know if fun's the right word, but this has been fun. Oh, is he gone? You gone? Chat, I think he's gone. Yeah, he let. Oh, because I'm on streamer mode, it doesn't play the sound. All right, cool. Well, he's gone now. doesn't play the Discord sounds, which is annoying. I wanted to have the call sound effect, but OBS streaming mode. Thank you. Yeah, that's it for the video. We suffered. Hopefully this uploads fine. I don't know if I'll ever do this again, but stay tuned for Squawk Talk. You can find the links. You can search it up. Hopefully we can upload within the next week or two. This has been Alex. This has been a video. Goodbye for now.